When you say goodbye, oh, walk on by, go, go, walk on by. I'm really walking by. Go. That's so good. There's no right to be that good. Praise Paul. 6 a.m. Paul? Well, it's 7 a.m. But yeah. I went to sleep right after the show last night, pretty much. I think we ate dinner, and then I was like, fuck this, and I went to bed. But I stayed in bed. Then I woke up at like 5:30. I was like, okay, nice watch, thanks. I like watches. And this is a baller fucking watch, not gonna lie. Stern glass Hamburg chrono. I love showing people this, dude. You guys ready? You guys ready for the chrono demonstration early this morning? I love showing people this. This is because it's so cool to me. Okay, so it's a chronograph watch, right? You can see the red second hand there. Well, it's just now 7 o'clock, so it's kind of hidden. But when I hit this button up here, that second hand is going to start moving. You see it? Now that second hand is tracking how many seconds go by between 2 points, right? Anytime I want to stop it, I can stop it. Bloop, right? But this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part, right? So let's say, okay, I'm done. I timed it. I want to reset it. Here we go. Blink and you'll miss it. Bloop. Bloop. There it went. Reset the chrono. I love that little trick. It's such a cool... I just love watches. They're just neat. Getting ready for your shift. Cool. Yeah, I'm off this week, so that's kind of nice. Hello, hello. Guten Morgen. Where are all of the beautiful people? Am I on the right track? Sometimes it feels like I'm made of eggshells. Feels like I'm gonna crack. Doom, 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 doom. Everyone wants to be somebody. Life of McDonald's manager, 9 to 10 hour shifts. Yeah, I feel your pain, bud. I was a Starbucks manager for a long time. Scrambled over Sunnyside. Eggs, my favorite way to have eggs is fried over medium. So runny yolk, cooked whites. My favorite breakfast is 2 over medium eggs and a piece of toast to dip. That's it. That's literally the best breakfast in the world. I have it like probably 4 days a week. Your beard looks nice. It is nice. It's a great beard. Everybody's like complimenting my looks today. Sunny side up is where they just, okay, so you crack the egg in the pan and you never flip it. You just let it cook from underneath. And so it usually leaves the yolk completely uncooked and a little bit of runny white around the yolk. It's like, no thanks. Yeah, sunny side up is a 0 flip egg. Over medium is, you know, you cook it and then you flip it, cook it on the other side, and then you pull it off before the yolk solidifies. If you cook sunny side correctly, you're supposed to use it. Yeah. I know that. I know that. Yeah, sunny side up correctly. You're supposed to use the steam and the lid to steam the runny whites. The problem is that most people can't cook a fucking sunny side up egg, bro. So I'd rather not. Just give me an over medium. But that runny yolk, you have to have that runny yolk. You cook it too long and that yolk solidifies. It's not like it's an inedible thing, but it's not even the same breakfast. You gotta have that golden runny yolk. One piece of toast, dip, bite. Call it a day. Yep. Runny yolk, buttery toast. That's all it is, dude. That's 100%. I eat that like 3 days a week, 4 days a week. When I'm feeling like I can have like breakfast. 2 eggs. 2 eggs and a toast. Yeah. Thoughts on hard boiled? I prefer soft boiled. You ever had a soft boiled egg? It's basically just like over medium but boiled. So it's cooked whites, but the yolk is still a little bit separated. Good shit. I like soft boiled eggs. I don't like hard boiled eggs. Those are for decorating and hiding from children on fucking Easter. Or making egg salad with, I guess. Eggs Benny, yup. I never really had Eggs Benedict in my whole life. Sorry. Oh, fuck. I never really had Eggs Benedict in my whole life until my ex-girlfriend. I went to Texas for Christmas. And I spent Christmas with her and her family. And her grandma has a tradition where she makes Eggs Benedict Christmas morning. And she just makes a ton of them. And, you know, you can just keep going and getting Eggs Benedict if you want. It was fucking great. She put like a little bit of like balsamic vinegar on top. You know, just a drizzle on top of it. And then used like the sliced ham. That was good shit. Where are you from? Cali. Where are you from? The hollandaise too. Oh yeah, the hollandaise. Gotta have that hollandaise. That homemade hollandaise. No, I mean I was not a fan of Eggs Benedict until then. I just didn't ever order it in my life, and then I already answered your question. I said I'm from California. Do you ever do steak and eggs, Benny? No. I've had a crab cake egg Benny before. I really haven't had much other though. I've had crab cake egg Benny. I had an egg Benedict that had deep fried. What was that? Eggplant. So it was deep, like a disc of deep fried eggplant on the Eggs Benedict. That was good. You ever have rare chicken? No, I don't really eat meat anymore anyway, but no. Well, yeah, accidentally. I've accidentally had rare chicken before. You eat cereal at all? No. Tocino spam? I do not. I've never heard of that. You ever mess with mobile games? Nope. Seafood bennies, yeah. Do you eat Asian? Asian dog? What the fuck is going on, dude? Coming up. Whoa, dude. So, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've got horrible allergies, right? I was bitching to my mom about it the other day. My mom was like, Peaches, I got this stuff called Simply Saline. And you squirt it up your nose. And I was like, it's just saline solution? Yeah. She's like, yeah, it's super concentrated saline, though. It's super salty. Squirt it up your nose, and it knocks all that shit loose. I was like, whatever. So I went and got some, and I just used it this morning in the shower. Because she told me, she warned me, use it in the shower because it goes everywhere. So I snorted it, and I was like, man, this doesn't really... A little bit, you know, I got a little bit of stuff moving in there. And then I got out of the shower, and like 3 minutes later, bro, chunks of shit, bro. Shit that's probably been lodged up in there for months and years and shit, all fucking like, I was like, whoa. Whoa. Do you know Sid Vicious? I'm aware of Sid Vicious, yes. I'm also aware he passed recently, right? Did you ever try shashuka? I have not. What's the product called? Simply Saline. Comes in like a yellow can. I think it's like Arm & Hammer. It's the brand, Simply Saline. Super concentrated saline. You gotta snort it up there a little bit, and then it just fucking knocks all kinds of shit loose. Do you ever go to driving school to get to your license? So we had driver's education is what we called it. I don't even know if they still do this, but in high school you would sign up for it for the summer. So when I was 15, I graduated sophomore year or whatever it was, or freshman year. I signed up for a summer class driver's education course where you show up at a certain time with one of the teachers that's working over the summer is there. They take you around, they show you how to drive. You did like a course afterwards, like not a driving course, but like a test. And once you pass that, you got your learner's permit, is what they called it. Which meant that you were 16, you could drive as long as you had somebody that was a licensed driver riding shotgun. So that was how we did it. I don't know how it works now. I know a lot of people don't even bother getting their license until they're like 19, 20 now, which makes no sense to me. Like, I literally went to the DMV and got my driver's license or whatever on my 16th birthday. April Fool's 1996, I can tell you exactly where I was. I was at the DMV taking my fucking driver's test and getting my license so that I could drive. It used to be like the most important thing to teenagers. the most important thing was getting a part-time job when you were in freshman year so that you could save money, so that you could buy a shitbox car, so that you could get your license, so that you could drive around and be cool. That was like the whole impetus for your life until you had a shitbox car and your license. Then the impetus for your life was trying to get laid. That was it. That was all you cared about. See, I just turned 30 last week and still haven't gotten my license. Bro. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe if you live in a place where you just walking distance from everything or great public transit, but that's like fucking alien shit to me. Oh yeah, dude, you pull up to school, you wait in the line of parents that are dropping their kids off, but you just get to park. You just whip into a parking spot and get out, and you're like, yeah, I didn't have an They didn't put a whoop whoop on 1981 or whatever Ford Tempos. There was no whoop whoop. Got my license the day I turned 17, minimum age to drive here in New Jersey, and then drove my hand-me-down car from the DMV to school. Yeah, dude, no shit. I didn't have no hand-me-down car, though. I busted my hump. Freshman summer, sophomore summer, working my fucking ass off to save, I think it was like $2,200 that I'd saved from those 2 summer jobs. And I think my first car cost me about $1,500. And then the rest of that money went to put a big fucking bumping ass double fucking boxed Landsar sub, 12-inch, dual 12-inch subs in the back. You heard me coming for 3 miles. Boom, boom. You're like, oh, Paul's coming. He'll be here in 20 minutes from the sound of it. When you speak calm, you were unintentional ASMR. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. Maybe I need to get into ASMR as a job, as a side gig. Hey, Paul, I remember you said you have songs in your head constantly. I hate it. Any advice for getting it out? You just gotta let it pass, man. It's my whole life, dude. My whole life. You'll get a certain song stuck in your head, and you just gotta let it pass, man. It's earworm. That's what they call it, right? Hello, brother from Mexico. Hello, Mexico. How are you? Hector Reyes. Hector. It's a cool name. Hector. I like that name a lot. How come you have such a great memory? So, you know, people have different facilities. You've heard of a photographic memory, right? Somebody that can almost perfectly recall something that they've spent time looking at. I don't have that, right? But some people do. Some people have what's called perfect recall of conversation. I don't have perfect recall of conversation, but I have incredibly accurate recall of conversation. It is very simple for me to work out memorization in my head. I hear a song in my head when I think about it, and so it is very easy for me to remember lyrics and tone and pitch on songs. It's just how my brain works, man. It's not a photographic memory. I've heard it called a phonographic memory. Photographic is for vision, phono for the ears, right? I've heard this. but I have a facility for memorization. Some people do, some people don't. You have a pornographic memory. Ah, good one. Good one. Oh boy. The morning joint. Thanks. I will donate on DFF. That's cool. Thanks. You gotta worry about that. Well, I mean, yeah, when DFF is on, worry about it, but don't worry about money. Put aside your transactions for today. There are no transactions on this channel, other than the transaction of conversation. We transact conversation here, but not money. Thank you for the show last night. Thank you for watching last night. It was a tough show. I am, like I said, my politics, or at least my prescriptions for how I conduct myself surrounding politics, are in flux. And so it was hard for me because typically in my list of life priorities, politics is pretty high. Not anymore. Not anymore. I am in the process of trying to mentally rearrange politics where I believe it belongs, down at the very, very bottom. And as such, it is hard for me to connect up with like a rant anymore about Kamala Harris or Trump, or, you know, the intransigence of the Congress, or the intransigence of the fucking judiciary, or, you know, it's just very hard for me to come up with a righteous rant about that anymore, because I have deliberately made it a point to deprioritize politics in my life outside of my work. And, you know, so last night, you know, we had an almost entirely political show, and, you know, I let the other guys have space to do their analysis, and I tried to jump in and be funny when I could. I really don't feel like I could do a super duper righteous rant just about base politics or about how shitty a politician is right now. I have deprioritized those things in my life. I'm the president? No, Hector. I'm sorry. I wish. I don't think anybody would vote for me, Hector. They don't like me very much up here because, you know, I don't like the government. Since the Dems reps can swap parties, then I shall swap nations. Hector, I'm Mexican now. Oh, shit. You know what, Hector? We're all gonna move to Mexico, and you've got to help us find our way, okay? Help us get set up in Mexico, because we're coming. All of us, this whole crew. 78. All 78 of us, we're going to Mexico. Let's go. Right now. Start packing. Viva la Mexico. Viva la raza. Viva la gente. Mano con mano, hand to hand, corazón con corazón. Somos la gente al unión. Somos solidaridad. Let's dance. Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. let's sway to the song that's played on the radio. Let's jump. Nope, don't want a smartwatch. I think they're cool looking, but I like mechanical watches. Thought about moving around Mexico City. Hey, man. I'm only half joking, you know? Not a bad Bowie. Yeah. I saw my baby crying hard as babe could cry. What should I do? My baby's love had gone and left my baby blue. Nobody knew what kind of magic spell to use. Slime and snails and puppy dog tails, thunder or lightning, and baby said. Oh yeah, that's the Goblin King. Never mind, I get him mixed up. Kinda looks like Bowie, but you're right, that's the Goblin King. Turn back, Sarah. Turn back before it's too late. Did you see yourself living outside of California? Yep, I have. I've lived all over the United States. Maybe not all over, but I've lived in a lot of places, man. I've lived up and down the West Coast. I've lived in Arizona, lived in Texas, lived in Louisiana, lived in Ohio for a little bit. Yeah, I've been all up around, you know, Washington State. It's funny seeing the president of Mexico have an Israeli flag next to their flag. Yeah, I guess so. Not uncommon here either. Never lived in Tennessee. Gotta admit to Tennessee. Take me to another world. Take me to another land. No, did you enjoy having 4 seasons? Yeah, having 4 seasons was neat. Not just summer, winter, summer, winter. Yeah, that is nice. You know, there used to be 4 seasons here where I am now. When I was a kid, I grew up in this area. We used to have spring, summer, autumn, winter, all 4. 4 seasons landscaping, yeah. Oy vey. AZ gets 2 seasons, hot and less hot. Yeah, that's basically how the Central Valley here is now. We get 100-degree weather, and then we get a short spring, and then we get, or a short autumn, but it feels more like a spring. And then we get winter, and then we get a short spring, and then we get summer. So we have 4 seasons technically, but it's 2 of them are very truncated. that shit knocked my sinuses out. I'm just gonna be dripping all day. It's crazy. Oh yeah, Frisco. Yeah, the fog in Frisco is crazy. All day fog that never burns off. Yeah. Yeah. San Francisco's pretty fucking awesome. Not gonna lie. The Bay Area is pretty awesome, but gets a bum rap from a lot of people. Very misunderstood area of the world. Gotcha. Ooh, that was close, you little fuck. One down already. Get them now while they're sluggish. It's still cool. They're like, bzz, bzz, bzz. Oh, there's a big one. Let me get you, boy. Oh, you're gonna get it. Zip zap, knick knack, paddywhack. Looking fresh today, feeling fresh today. I took a nice shower this morning. Got showered up, you know. I'm just watching for that fly. I want him to come back. I'm waiting for him to come back. I dare him to come back. As a teacher, I consider moving to the Bay Area, but it's the one area of the country that's more expensive to live than here outside New York City. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking obscenely expensive. And the cost of living doesn't match. The place I live, in the Central Valley, I live in Fresno. There are people that live here, right, because it's cheaper. And they commute 2 hours every day to the Bay to work. 2 hours one way. 2 hours up, work your whole day, 2 hours home. And they live here every day. That's pretty fucking crazy. Yep, $3,000 a month for a studio in the Mission. Yep. Yep. People do the same for every big city in America. There are people that will move an hour outside of town where it's cheap and then drive in every fucking day. I believe a year or two ago, you guys covered a story that had Bay Area school districts asking parents to let teachers rent a room from them. Yeah, so teachers could live. Yeah, I know. It's insane. It's insane. And the same is true for pretty much any desirable municipal, like big city area. You know, in order to get like something that's slightly cheaper, you've got to come to a place like this. You know, so Central California is like a farming area. Fresno's a big city, but it's in the middle of nowhere, you know, in the middle of the fucking valley. And here you can find, you know, a studio apartment for $700 a month, maybe $750, something like that. You know, get a little house for $1,200, $1,300. Finally caught another live. You were here not that long ago. I just didn't do one last night. I went straight to bed last night, dude. Straight to sleep. I finished up the Gauntlet. I ate dinner with my wife and watched like half of an episode of The Terror, and then I was like, you know what? Good night. Caught like 10 minutes yesterday. I don't even remember what we talked about yesterday. Isn't that great? Yeah, it's about the Franklin expedition that was lost, trying to find the Northwest Passage. Lost in Prince William Land or whatever. The ice closed in around them and they were trapped. It's a really good show. I'm enjoying it. No more Landlord woes? Nope. Amelia and I are done looking for at least a week. We've decided we are taking a full week to not worry about housing. We are month to month here, and this place would never kick us out because we're literally like dream tenants. We don't bitch, and I pay my fucking shit on time every time. So we're chill here. I've got everything I need to do my job here. So, you know, I've recategorized moving as a desire. And, you know, according to my kind of like nascent religion, I should eschew those things. I shouldn't allow those things to rule me. I shouldn't be ruled by my desire. So there we go. We're taking a week off of even thinking about moving, and then after that, we're gonna have a nice long talk, find out what our options are, big brainstorming session, you know, and we'll start planning from there. But you guys have no idea. I've just never in my life had problems getting a fucking house because of all the mistakes I've made in my life. One of them has not been fucking over landlords, getting bad credit. I've got great credit. I've got a completely clean rental history. I've never been arrested. I got no fucking criminal history. I'm the perfect tenant. And I feel like my money doesn't spend in this little town I'm trying to move to. It's fucking crazy. It's insane. You know, this last landlord dude, he's fucking like, I didn't even know what to tell the dude, because he seemed like a really nice guy. He did. That was the fucked up thing. Is like, I thought I fucking got super lucky when he called. You know, months after we didn't get his property, he gave it to somebody that applied before us. He calls us and says, hey, that person burned me and I'm looking to get somebody in for a year. I was like, fuck yeah, man. I thought, dude, and this guy seemed reasonable. He's an owner, operator kind of landlord, but he has 8 properties. He doesn't even live in the state. I'm like, damn, okay, this could work. But that guy, in order for me to get his shitty little house, wanted to sniff my asshole upside down, left, right, lick it, sniff it, probe his finger up in it, go back in for a second dip. He just like, I gave him everything I give any other landlord that shows the shit that I'm talking about. Yes, I'm married. And it wasn't enough for him. He needed to sniff my asshole deeper. And I just told him, like, no thanks, bitch. You just lost yourself a deal with one of the best tenants you've probably had in a long time. Congrats. You booty sniffed yourself out of a deal. Congratulations. And the dude actually apologized to me. He was like, you know what, Paul, you're right. You're right. I understand what you're saying. You're right. I wouldn't like that. So I just kind of flipped it on him. He asked me for pictures of my house to prove that my house wasn't like destroyed by my pets. So I sent them. But then I ended up pulling the plug on the deal, and he wanted to talk about why. And when I was talking to him about why on the phone, I told him, I said, I want you to flip the script. Let's say you and I came to the agreement we came to yesterday. Everything's hunky-dory. And then I go like, oh, I'm going to need some pictures of where you live and how you're living, because I've had some bad landlords before, and I want to make sure you're not just a crackhead. Would you have sent me those pictures? And he was like, no, I don't think I would have. And I was like, but I have to. I have to send you, a person I don't know, pictures of my home to prove what? That I'm not living waist deep in dog shit, sir? How do you know those are pictures of my home? How do you know I didn't just Google pictures of somebody else's home? You know, it just makes no sense. It's invasive. And you're treating me, a gold star fucking tenant, like a criminal. That's why I'm not going to work with you. Because my privacy comes at a premium. I work from home, sir. And you seem like the type of landlord that would be peeking over my fence to protect his investment. That's my home. I understand. You know what, Paul? I apologize. You're right. I apologize for that. Huh? Hopefully you learn. He even said, I'm going to think about this for future tenants. I really am. I really am going to remember this. Thank you, Paul. And I apologize. And I was like, well, fucking scum. Got landlorditis. I told him that on the phone, because one of the stipulations he had was he's trying to sell this house and he wants to rent it. He wants to double dip. He wants to show this house as a sale, as a house that's for sale, but he wants to have people living in it. And so I was like, I tell you what, dude, I typically am not live for my shows and stuff on Saturdays or Sundays. So you can have one of those days a week to show the house. How's that? He was like, that sounds great. That's reasonable. Yeah, I could do that Saturday or Sunday. Okay. Then he calls back 2 hours later when I'm busy. I'm on the show. Calls back and tells Amelia, oh, I called my real estate agent. It has to be every day. Good luck finding anybody. I don't even care if they, I told him this. I was like, dude, good luck finding anybody. I don't care if they work from home or not, that's going to want a family traipsing in and out of their house on 24 hours notice any day of the week all fucking year. He was like, yeah, you're right. I don't think so. I think it's honestly, because I've been jerked around, like I said, more times trying to move to this little town than I've ever been jerked around in my life. And I'm talking about times when I was broke, times when I was poor, times when I had a really hard time proving income, you know what I mean? Never been jerked around like this. I make more money now at this point in my life. I'm more financially stable now than I ever have been in my life. And I'm having a harder time finding a house now than at any point in my life. Than from points in my life where I was not financially stable. How does that make any fucking sense? I told him, I said, it's literally, and I said, it's not just you, sir, but I feel like in that little town, my money don't spend. I don't get it. I said, you are the 4th landlord to jerk me around. And I don't get it. I said, anywhere else I look, people are clamoring for my money. Clamoring for me as a tenant. Over here, I feel like my money don't spend. Well, you know, and his excuse was, Paul, you know, I could stay here for an hour on the phone with you, telling you about how I've been screwed over by tenants. And I had the last tenant that I had in that house really did me dirty. He left me with a urine-soaked carpet. a pet urine soaked carpet, and I don't want to make that $2,000 mistake again. And I was like, sir, because somebody had a dog that pissed on your carpet doesn't mean that other people for the rest of your life are going to like being treated like criminals. I told you the truth about my dog. My dog is house trained since he was fucking a puppy. My dog doesn't destroy things. My dog is prissy as fuck. He's afraid of things. And my cat lays around all day, sir, and shits in a litter box. Now, if that's not good enough to protect your cheap-ass carpet, then I don't know what to tell you, bro. You're in the wrong business. Dude, okay, so when I lived in Louisiana, I was living in an apartment complex. And I used to watch when people would move out. Do you know what they would do? Person would move out of the apartment complex or move out of an apartment, right? They would send in 4 or 5 maintenance guys. And those dudes would begin stripping all the fucking carpet out of that place and replacing it. It was just standard. Well, this person's been in here 3 or 4 years, rip that carpet up and replace it with some more cheap carpet. Boom, boom. And it takes like fucking 20 minutes and it's done. Spackle over some holes, throw a fresh coat of paint over it, let it dry out for a day, boom, you got another family in there the next day. That's the way it works. But these landlords have this vision in their head that you're going to rent their shit, right? And then you're going to put cellophane over every surface in the house. You're going to wrap the floors in protective plastic. You're not going to hang anything on the walls, and you're just not going to touch anything. You're just literally going to exist in the center of a room very cleanly. And then when you move out, it's going to look like nobody was ever there. They've got this fantasy in their fucking heads. Yeah, they literally think you're just going to levitate. You're just going to do like Dalsim. You're going to yoga levitate in the center of the room. Never touch anything. Never eat. Never have people over. Never get a pet. It's like, I wouldn't let tenants with pets in either. Then you're getting rid of about, I'd say about 75% of your business. So good luck with that. You'd be a really great landlord. You're going to turn away 75% of paying customers. Awesome. Good business. Think about if Starbucks had that. We're going to turn away 75% of people that ask us for coffee. You think that's a good business strategy? How many people you know have 0 pets? Yeah, just get a pet deposit. That's what I told this dude on the phone. I was like, if you were really afraid that I was going to mess up your cheap carpet, why didn't you just charge me a security deposit? Well, I was planning on it, but blah, 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 blah. Well, then what's the problem? Why do you need pictures of my home then? If you're charging me enough to rip out and replace the carpet, then what do you care if I shit on it myself? I asked him that. It's not hard to find renters. Landlords can be choosy. Well, I've watched 2 landlords who were desperate to get somebody into a home because one of them, the owner of the home, was screaming at him to get somebody in the house. This other dude is eating his mortgage every month on a fucking rental that's sitting there stagnant. So they seemed like they were pretty desperate for a renter. And guess what both of them did? All last week, both of them dropped a $24,000 bag over a $1,500 carpet. Which one of those numbers is higher? $24,000 guaranteed over a year or a $1,500 carpet? I wonder. People don't have pets? Who doesn't have pets? I don't know a single person that doesn't have a pet. Not one. I couldn't name you a single oh, you know what? I do. I know one. He doesn't have pets because he basically lives on the road. Amelia's dad is a motorcycle guy, and he moves every other month, and he doesn't have a pet. That's the one person in my life that I know, that I could name, that doesn't have a pet. So who are these people you're talking about? Of the couple hundred people I have personal relationships with, one of them doesn't have pets. Ahoy, mateys. Ahoy, mateys. I was just saying, everyone I know doesn't have pets. It's because they can't afford it like me, and then these landlords want to throw a pet deposit in there too. Yeah. Yo, Paul, what are you loving about the day? Oh, good question. The weather is really nice. It's really still and crisp, and the sun is just starting to peek over that house over there, and it's nice. I can feel it. It's nice. Thank you. Great question. How you feeling about the new 40K game? We're talking about Space Marine 2 or whatever. I've seen a couple of things from it, but I haven't really been paying close attention, man. But I think it's going to be an awesome game from what little bit I've seen. If you could afford a Chihuahua, if I could afford a Chihuahua, I would name him Hector. Hector. That's a good name for a little Chihuahua. You know, Chihuahua is actually a region of Mexico. Yeah, I'm a big, well, I'm like a kind of like a closet 40K nerd, I guess. I don't own any 40K stuff, but I love the lore, I love the books, and the video games and stuff too. So I'll pick that up for sure. I just feel like I'm buried in games I want to play right now, man. And I've been having, like, I started Monkey Souls, and I'm doing fine at it. I'm not frustrated with it or anything. I'm just kind of getting bored with it. This tends to happen to me with these open world action RPG kind of Souls-like games, is that the gameplay loop of go to an area, find the secrets in it, clean up all the guys, and fight the area boss, it starts to feel stale about like halfway, 3/4 of the way through a game, and I'll just like, it's like the loop. I start to feel like it's a chore when I open up a new area, and I'm like, fuck, now I gotta go around every little area, and I gotta find all the hidden treasures, and I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta clean up all these trash mobs that have no challenge to them, blah, 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 and I've gotta do this, and I've gotta hit the little incense thing, and I gotta find the secret, and I gotta do this, and just like, and then it's just like, you know, and then it feels good to beat the boss because it builds up over the hour that you spend, 2 hours you spend in that area clearing it out, and then you got this big boss fight. So at the beginning, the gameplay loop feels satisfying. But after doing that 3 or 4 times in Monkey Souls, I feel like I don't want to do it again. You know, I don't want to, like the next, I'm right at the end. I think I'm nearing the end of the snow area. And in my mind, when I think about, like, I want to play a game, I'll boot up Monkey Souls, and then I'm like, oh wait, I'm right at the end of a snow area, so I'm right before a boss, and then I'm gonna have to start on a whole new area. Fuck. Let me play something else. And the first 2 areas of Monkey Souls were really well designed. They were big but small. They had a lot of stuff, but it was condensed and densely packed, right? And then all of a sudden, the snow area is the most expansive, giant, creepy, crawly, tiny little corridors connecting every little... It's a total chore to be in. It's not fun. It's literally a chore to be in it because everything looks the same and you get fucking mixed up where you're at and it's not clear where you need to go and every place has 9 paths that you've got to go down and it's just fucking like all of a sudden the game just like went from like really condensed content that was really high energy and fun and engaging visually. Really condensed content that's really high energy, engaging, fun, has a little exploration to it. Open world where every little thing's it's a maze basically. Good luck. And it's like I'm not stuck. I'm literally not stuck on chapter 3. I've been playing chapter 3. I'm making fine progress through it, but it is like a slog to get through it. It's just boring me to tears. It's like, oh, okay, there's 9 passageways. Where do I go? Okay, I go left. Oh, now that's a dead end. Oh, wait, no, it isn't a dead end. There's another little passage. Oh, it's a shortcut back to an earlier area. Okay, let me go back. Okay, passage number 2. It's just, I'm just like, monkey. It's literally, I'm not struggling at all. It's just like, I'm bored to tears with this area. It's ugly. It's just white snow everywhere. I've been in it for like twice the amount of time that it took me to clear area 1 and 2 now, at least. And I feel like I've got maybe 2 mini bosses before the end boss still. I'm just done for a while. The game has lost me. It stopped being an adventure and it started to be a chore. I'm not interested in the end boss like I was in the first 2. The little overarching story doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm bored with it. I don't care. I want out of this area in the worst way, but I can't get out of the area. It's just snow on snow on snow on snow on snow with snow and an extra bit of snow. And then at the end of that, I know that the next area is just going to be another big giant maze. And I'm going to have to fucking get lost in and creep around in and fucking... I'm just done. Sorry. You know? The gameplay loop lost me. Paul, have you heard that in Japan when you reach 30 years of age and are too obese, they put you in fat boot camp? Do they really? They let you be fat till you're 30, and then if you're still big and fat at 30, they're like, fat boot camp, motherfucker. Damn. I don't know whether that's a good thing, like, based, or like a horrible, horrible overreach of government fucking, like, authoritarianism. I don't know. Maybe it's both. It's not a I wouldn't call it that, dude. I'm not trying to shit on the game. The game, visually and art style wise, is like fucking stunning. Like there are these cutscenes when you clear an area, and it seems like they've hired a different artist for each one. So the first one was kind of like anime style. The next one was claymation, like stop motion stuff. It's been forever since I saw a game that had that level of creativity in its design. It's just this area, this snow area, is fucking not fun. It's not fun. It's not hard. It's just huge and endless, and there's no sign that you're gonna get anywhere. It's like you feel like you're getting, oh, okay, finally I'm getting towards the end of this, and then it's like, nope, it just opens up another giant area. It's like, oh, more snow. Oh yeah, more snow. That's exactly what I was hoping for, is for there to be more snow for me to trudge through. That's what I want, more snow. I love snow. From what I've read, Chapter 3 is the first chapter they made before the game was greenlit officially by Tencent. Oh, well, it feels like it. It feels like very different from, like, in terms of exploration and everything. It's incredibly different from the first two areas. The first two areas were so tight. Didn't feel like Souls at all. It was almost more linear. It felt, you know what it felt like? The first two areas felt like areas in Devil May Cry. Have you ever played Devil May Cry? I think this game has more, like, DNA from Devil May Cry than it does from Dark Souls. I really do. Those first two areas were way more like the first couple of floors of the mansion in Devil May Cry 1. The areas were big and there were secrets and stuff, but there was a pace to it. It was like, and then boom, it's like all of a sudden they drop you in this giant, and I'm telling you, dude, this Area 3 snow map is huge. When you start that map, Wukong Chapter 3 is so bad, I put the game down. The last boss did it for me. He was so fucking bad. I haven't even seen the last boss yet. I'm close to him, though. I think I'm going to finish it up just to see how bad it is, because this area has slowly but surely bled any desire out of me to play the game. It is so glaringly bad compared to the first two areas. The first two areas, chef's kiss. This one, garbage. Full-blown garbage. I played 1 and 5. DMC 2 killed me from finishing Trilogy Pack. Oh my god, yeah. Devil May Cry 2 is tough. And not in a good way. It's a rough game. It's not good. Devil May Cry 1 and the remaster of DMC 1, awesome. DMC 3, awesome. The best Devil May Cry game is 4. You want the tightest game, that's 4. Yeah. I was a Sega kid. I didn't have Nintendo stuff. Like, I had an NES when I was young in the 80s. And then in the next generation of consoles, like, literally every friend I had got a Super NES, right? That was the 16-bit one. And I got a Genesis. Yeah, and then I got the, so I had a Gen 1 Genesis. It's the one that you search. It looks like a spaceship, man. It's got the circle on top, and it's all black, right? And then I had the Gen 1 Sega CD when it came out. So it was a platform. It looked like a DVD player almost. It had a little thing that hooked into the top. You would mount your Genesis on top of it, and now you got a Sega CD. And then I got the 32X. So I had the full Frankenstein. No, dude, the Sega CD was my favorite console of all time, bro. No shit. I was never more excited to play video games than that console. That was peak to me. Killer Instinct on Sega CD, Eternal Champions on Sega CD, Sonic CD is, and I don't even want to hear it from you Sonic weirdos, the greatest Sonic game and maybe one of the best platform games ever made. Sonic CD, I mean, we're talking like sprite art, level design, gameplay loop, sound design. It's peak. It's peak. If you've never played Sega CD with the full fucking original soundtrack and everything, you've never experienced Sonic. Sewer Shark is a game that people poop on, but that game was awesome. Some of the FMV games that were in there were so unique that how do you hate them? Night Trap? I mean, it was crazy, bro. I played Lunar the Silver Star on Sega CD. That's my favorite JRPG of all time. Just like filled to the brim with character. I just love that game. If you've never played Lunar, Sega CD was the peak Lunar experience, and it is a wonderful, if you're into JRPGs at all, I'm not super into them anymore, but I used to be. And that's the tip top, bro. Lunar the Silver Star for Sega CD, or that version of it, just emulate it, bro. Some of the FMV games sucked, or were just kind of gimmicky, you know? Some of that is true, so I get why people hate on FMV games, but there were some really fucking good ones, bro. Really good. I didn't have the Beavis and Butthead Sega game, no. I played it. I think I rented it, but I didn't own it. Yeah, I remember Beavis burping on people and Butthead farting on people, and then I remember it reminded me of the Simpsons NES game where Bart's running around. Sonic as a mascot and IP seemed dummy-proof as a moneymaker, emphasis on seemed. Yeah, well, I mean, here's the problem. Sonic never made a proper transition to 3D. Mario leapt out of the 2D world and into 3D with maybe the greatest platform game of all time overall. Mario 64, I don't think that there has been a game yet that is that perfect when it comes to platformers. And the fact that it was one of the first leaps into that 3D platforming world, and it's still to this day the gold standard, Sega wasn't able to meet that challenge. Yeah. Sega was not able to rise to that challenge. The transition of Sonic from a 2D sprite-based character to a 3D world never worked. It just never worked. And they tried all the same shit. Mario RPG, Sonic fucking RPG. It just doesn't work. Mario RPG, fantastic JRPG style game with Mario characters in it. It's wonderful. It's a delightful little game. The Sonic RPGs like Sonic 06 and shit, unplayable garbage. They just never got it. They never figured it out. Paper Mario, you never got anything like that. Nintendo just did right by their IP, and Sega wiped their ass with Sonic. '64 was your first console? Yeah. That's a pretty cool era, you know. I liked the 64. I never owned one. I went from the Genesis with the whole attachment shit. By the way, the worst part of that was the 32X. The 32X was pointless. It was a pointless attachment, and the games that came out for it that were good, you could probably count it on one hand. I don't even remember a game that I felt like, well, this is definitive. So the 32X was garbo. But the Genesis and the Sega CD, I will forever say, fantastic, underrated consoles. Maybe the best consoles of their generation if you look at the types of games. Because it's just like there's a whole different feel to Genesis games, right? So like you guys got really great games. When I say you guys, I mean Nintendo people, right? My friends all had SNESs. They were all playing Final Fantasy III, right? They were all playing Mystic Quest. They were all playing Zelda, right? These are unimpeachably wonderful games from that era. But they didn't get Lunar. They didn't get Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star 4 is a crazy, amazing game. Super fun. You know, so Sega had a whole flavor to it, man. Nope, I don't play Sonic games anymore. Phantasy Star with a P. Remember, E-Train. P-H. It's a P-H-A-N-T-S-E-Y. Fantasy with a P, bro. Bad name. Fucking great game, dude. Phantasy Star 4, I defy you. Emulate it. Tell me you're not hooked. It's great. It's a great game. Yeah, I know. Autocorrect. Fantasy, dude. Fantasy. I got it on the Sega collection for Switch. You should play it, bro. No, stupid autocorrect. No, I believe that you knew. I know how autocorrect be. Wild. Yeah, dude. Fat with a PH. Well, have you generated any AI pictures with an AI generator? I did some today and they're pretty impressive. I've done it. I've messed around with it a couple of times, but not really, to be honest with you. I'm not very visually inclined as like artistically speaking. And so it's not as fulfilling, I think, to me to do it. TJ is fucking running wild with it, bro. He loves it. Am I smoking on? GMO. Indica. Good shit. The gayness? What's gay? Are you telling me that just because I'd blow a dude, I'm gay? Is that what you're telling me? How's that work in your head? Explain that one to me. People are so twisted up about sexuality, man. It's like, dude. Yeah. I mean, what, like, so let's say I'm not, but let's say I was crazy gay, but you're still enjoying the live. Like, would you hang in there? Yeah. Yeah, TJ's going, he's AI crazy right now, man. He's loving it. Yes, I will. Why did you have a problem with the gay? I don't get it, man. I'm trying to figure you out, Greg. Why are you worried about the gay stuff? Why'd you have to mention that? You don't? But you mentioned it, though, bro. You said the thing that worries me about you is all the gay stuff. And now I'm asking you what the fuck you meant. And you seem a little confused by it. Do you think you might be all twisted up about your own sexuality, maybe? I don't get it, is all. I haven't said a single thing about homosexuality until you brought it up. What is it you don't get? It's just a weird thing to say, man. It's a weird thing to lead with. Hey, man, I like your live, but I'm just gonna fucking say that all this gay shit, I'm not bagging you, okay, and I'm not bagging you, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of the comment that you made. You said the gay stuff bothers you. Why? If I turn off this live and I go suck 1,000,000 dicks, how does your life change today? Paul, when you move on from this topic, does being cool or not bother you? No. No. What is cool today will be cringe tomorrow. If you try and ride that trend, you'll never be either. It does bother me. Or it doesn't, maybe is what you meant. It's okay, dude. I was just asking some questions, bro. It's cool. You're off the hook. Whatever. People are just fucking weird to me, man. I just don't understand why what other people are doing is of such importance to you, especially when it has no bearing on your life. Yeah, if other people are like shitting in the pond that you like to fish in, I understand why you'd be fucked up about that. That's bad human behavior that negatively affects the environment, or it affects the environment and your enjoyment of it. I get it. But like, dude, like I said, dude, what I do in the privacy of my bedroom and who I fuck and who I love, like, why is that even like on your radar? I don't understand. It's not on my radar. What you do in your bedroom, as long as it's between consenting adults, is so far off my radar, I couldn't even fucking find it if I tuned in. Yeah, not on my radar. You, uh, you don't understand, and that's all I said. Okay, bud. I don't think that you know what you're saying, but it's cool. Did you do an interview with Jimmy Dore ever? Sure. Can you tap dance, though? Like saying Joe Biden had a gun to your head and you had to tap dance. Skin 'em a rinky dinky dink. I would try, but no. I think I would get shot. The wrist is drippy today, as always. Stern glass, Hamburg chrono. I shut off the chrono thing at the very start. I could do it again. I could show the chrono thing off again. Okay, I'll show you guys the chronograph real quick. I love this watch. This is an awesome watch. Okay, so here we go. Chronograph, right? Red hand is not moving, as you can see. That would normally be the second hand on a watch, but this is a chronograph watch. So if I hit that, the red hand starts to keep time. There's a subdial there that will tell me how many minutes have gone by. And I can just leave that running. Now I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there so we can all see it. So now it's stopped, right? All right, I've timed whatever it was. I wanna reset it. Blink and you'll miss it. Watch the red hand. You ready? Bloop. Oh, I love watches, bro. They're just cool. They're just cool things. Do I need to have a timer on my wrist? No. Is it cool that I do? Yeah. Bloop. Any luxury brands you're into? Nah. I mean, I can appreciate the beauty of luxury brands, but as far as like me wanting to own them and stuff, nah. On a non-chrono, do you prefer small seconds or three hand? It depends on the dial. I'm a dial guy. I'm not a complication guy. I think the complication on this is cool, but I bought it for its clean instrument panel Bauhaus dial. I'm a sucker for that shit. So yeah, dial first, then complications. I have Omegas and IWCs, big watch nerd despite my job. Oh my God, bro. I love IWCs a lot. And I would love to have an Omega Seamaster or a Speedmaster. They're beautiful watches, but they're just out of my price range, bro. I think I would have problems wearing $7 grand on my wrist. But I think IWCs are beautiful. Like, those are all in the range where I could see myself. It's like a basic Rolex, right? A lot of people think that's like 50 grand. It's like, no, you can get a fucking decent Rolex for 5 and change, 6. If you're buying like used or vintage, secondary market, you can get like a Rolex Explorer or a Datejust, right? In that price range, between, you know, 5.5 and 8 grand. And that's like not inconceivable to spend something like that, but I just don't think I would ever be able to wear it. Like, I don't think I would feel comfortable having $7 grand on my wrist. Shampoo for your beard is next. Dude, my beard is clean as a whistle, bro. Clean. I use beard oil. I use beard balm. What do you know about me, homie? I'm fresh out the shower today. This beard smells like the fucking woods, bro. Oh, yeah. It smells like a pine forest in there. What do you know about me, bud? I let these people come by judging. Save your judgments. You don't know me at all. You don't know me from fucking Adam, bro. And you might run your mouth too hot. That's all I'm gonna say. You might run your mouth a little too hot. May not be me, but people like that tend to get slapped. Those are some of my favorite moments. When you see a mouthy fuck get a mouthful. Oh. Yes. Paul's beard smells like it's one with the land, the trees, the sky. Yeah, dude. It smells like nature in here, bro. Nature. Oh, man, that's so fucking good. Paul, does freedom of speech include the right of other groups of people for whatever? The right, freedom of speech include the right to hate other groups of people? The right to hate? I guess. Yeah. I mean, you know, freedom of speech has to be all inclusive, right? Now, there are hate speech laws, and I'm not opposed to hate speech laws. Like, I think if you're targeting people with hate speech and shit as a group, you should be punished. I don't think we allow people to threaten, like, threatening somebody's life is not protected by freedom of speech. Screaming fire in a crowded theater and causing a stampede is not protected speech. You know, inciting violence and hatred and racial bigotry against a person is not protected speech. But overall, if you want to, you know, publish some hateful paper about how black people are monkeys or something, you're not targeting a single individual with your hate speech, tolerate it. Would that make Kill Whitey hate speech? I guess, yeah, I don't know. Oh, you lucky little son of a bitch. You're gonna get it. 1 mig down already today. My father was an ambassador to Iceland, and I lived 4 years in Africa as a boy. I can say that I never got racism from African people over there at all. Yeah, I think things are different, you know, in different parts of the world. I mean, for me, your right to speech, just like, okay, here's a term that's used a lot, but I really like it. Okay? Your right to flail your arms like this ends at my nose. Right? So you can stand around all day and flail your arms like this. But the minute you walk up to me and flail your arms in my face and punch me in the nose, you have transgressed your right to do whatever you want. The same thing applies to speech. If you are just in general saying some hateful backward shit about black people, about Palestinians, about Mexicans, right? That speech should be tolerated, not respected. But if you and your group are targeting an individual and saying that N-word over there should be lynched, we're going to kill that N-word. One of these days, that N-word is going to get what's coming to him. Then you have transgressed. Now you're waving your arms and you're hitting my nose. Pretty simple to me. Calling for and threatening violence are crimes. If I call you on the phone and I say, I'm going to come murder you and your whole fucking family, I've broken the law. Okay? So, there you go. Pretty fucking simple. Say whatever the fuck you want. Just don't infringe on another person's right to exist with it. You start calling for violence against a fucking group of people for hateful reasons, you're a hate speech fucking felon. Go to jail. You go to a crowded theater and you scream, oh my God, fire, get out now! And you start screaming and running around and you cause a fucking stampede and a bunch of people get trampled. You weren't exercising your free speech. You committed a felony. Pretty simple. Paul, it's good to know the law. If you know the law well and know your rights, can it save you sometime? 100%. 100%. Like, you don't even have to know the specifics of the law, knowing your rights. So, like, you've probably heard me say it before, but in case you haven't, you never speak to a cop. Ever. Your answer to a cop is, I don't answer questions. Am I being detained? The answer should be no. And if that's the case, you turn around and walk away. You don't talk to cops. During traffic stops, you have no choice. Right? You've got no choice. So they go like, license and registration, you give it to them. They ask you any questions, though. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? I don't answer any questions, officer. Yeah, I'll need my attorney. Traffic cops are necessary. They're a necessary evil. If you're going to have people that have a right, and that right is restricted for the safety of others, you're going to have people on the road making sure people aren't flaunting that, because that's how families get killed on the road. I get it. I'm not a banish all police action guy. A society needs police, needs to have law enforcement officials. Okay, fair enough. I don't talk to them. I don't aid them in investigations. Like, we had a cop knock on our door here. What was it, like last year, I think? Woke Amelia up. I was still dead asleep. Pounding on the door. Amelia goes, hello? And the cop goes, hi, yeah, I'm from the sheriff's department. Wanted to ask you a few questions about your neighbors here. Pointed across the street from us, and Amelia was like, we don't know them, and I've never seen them, and I don't know who lives there. Can't help you. Bye. It's like, what? You out here on a fishing expedition? Get me tattle on my neighbors? Nope. Came to the wrong house, officer. Get me to speculate about my neighbors? Nope. I'm not interested in aiding your investigation, officer. That's not my job. That's your job. Have fun. You want anything out of me, my lawyer will be present. See ya. What if there was domestic violence? It's none of my business. Like I said, I'm not there. If I see domestic violence happening in one of my neighbor's yards, I call the police. Somebody's beating on somebody, but a cop just shows up on a fishing expedition and goes like, can you tattle on your neighbors to me a little bit? I go, no. If there's no crime, there's no authority to detain you. Yeah, but cops will abuse that constantly. You will ask them, am I being detained? They'll tell you what. The next question you ask is, on the suspicion of what crime? Because they can't detain you unless they are suspecting you of committing a crime. They have to have what's called, in their language, reasonable articulable suspicion in order to detain a human being. And they will detain you without articulating that suspicion constantly. They'll ask you to ID for no reason, constantly. Yep. So if I walk away right now, I'm under arrest? Yes, sir. For what? Impeding an investigation. Resisting arrest. Resisting arrest based on the suspicion of what crime? Not providing ID when requested. That's not a crime. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. I mean, that's the type of shit you'll get off a cop. They think they can stop and frisk. They can't. Not in California, at least. They think they can pull you over on any kind of fucking bare suspicion and have you open up your wallet and give all your information and submit to questioning and submit to a search of your person. Would you give a mouse a cookie even if their survival meant that they would nuke Antarctica? What? Get him out. That was a waste of my time. Jack's gotta go. Jack's too retarded to have a conversation like an adult. I don't care where you're from, bro. Like a whole ass conversation going on and just like fucking drivel, bro. People are just broken. Dumb fuck avalanche, indeed. Feel like this should be taught in schools. It should be. Your rights as a citizen and your interaction with the public servants that exist in your society should be 100% taught in school. Favorite cartoon of all time? Mask. That was my favorite when I was a kid. It's an old 80s cartoon. Has the best intro song. Here, dude, I'll play some of it for you. The intro song to Mask is fucking goated, bro. Soy levels off the charts, yeah. Slaps ultra hard. My kid was just jamming to that hard. Dude, you should play it for him. You should find, I bet you could find those old cartoons. That's great for a kid, bro. Those cartoons were great. Mask. Nobody ever talks about it either, dude. Nobody ever wants to mention Mask. Shit was baller, though. Mask is a good one from the 80s. Bro, here's another good one. And this is another one that, like, it gets buried because it was kind of a ripoff of a, maybe a lot of people would say a better cartoon, but this was, I liked this better. I liked GoBots better than fucking Transformers when I was a kid. Sue me. Inspector Gadget was dope. On the real, as an adult, Transformers. I'm not gonna fucking front. Transformers. As a kid, bro, I was all about Psykill, bro. I wanted the GoBot. Give me the GoBots. The GoBots had this big land fortress. I think that's what it was called. It was like a ripoff of the AT-AT walkers from Star Wars, but it was this big plastic thing, and it opened up in the back, and you could put your GoBots in it, close it up, and I had that shit, bro. But Transformers were better toys, like cooler toys. GoBots were simple. GoBots were like simple. They were like probably for kids that were like 6 to 8. And Transformers, I feel like we're trying to get from like 6 to 12, maybe. Thundercats were dope, dude. Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Dun-dum, dun-dum. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. I can remember it, dude, in my fucking mind, bro. Those cartoons were badass, bro. Bro, I remember even earlier shit, bro. I remember pre-Cartoon Network, there was a show on MTV called Liquid Television. Have you ever heard of Liquid Television? It was basically just like an outsider animation, like exhibition show. It was where Beavis and Butthead were invented. So Beavis and Butthead started as a Liquid Television short made by Mike Judge. He was just one of the artists, animators that they highlighted for Liquid TV. And also in Liquid Television was the original shorts that would become the universe that is Aeon Flux. There were a number of these insanely interesting, weird, edgy cartoons, animations, claymations that came out there that really presaged like Toonami and Cartoon Network and their weird robot chicken type of stuff. Yeah, she was awesome. Power Rangers, I was a little too old. I would watch it and then make fun of it with my friends, how lame it was. So I was a little too old when Power Rangers came out. I was probably like 11 or 12. It was just, I was right on that edge where it stopped being cool and it started being goofy, you know? But the Ninja Turtles, of course. Yeah, dude. I was primetime Ninja Turtle guy. Dude, I had, so overactive imagination, I've talked about it, right? I've got one. It feeds my job a lot. But me and my best friend, we were so into the Turtles that we started, like, we would do this. We would dress up, like, we cosplayed, basically. And we had this whole thing where we had these secret formula, and it was basically just sludge from the pond in his backyard mixed with some dirt and shit. But we called it mutagen. And we thought we had exposed ourselves to this and we were becoming turtles. That was the meme. We were running around and we were going to turn into the Ninja Turtles, but we couldn't tell anybody, you know? We also used to dress up as Ghostbusters and pull my wagon with a boombox playing the Ghostbusters song around the neighborhood, hoping that neighbors would hire us to bust a ghost. Nobody ever did. Nobody ever needed our services, but we advertised. We would pull the wagon, and if people would come out to see what the hell was going on, we would say, hey, you guys have any ghosts? We're busting ghosts. Yeah, He-Man was pre-Turtles. I was big into He-Man, too. I had Castle Grayskull. I had the battle damage He-Man where, like, you had that chest thing, and if you tapped it, it would go psh, and there'd be, like, a gash in his armor. I had battle damage He-Man, battle damage Skeletor, Castle Grayskull that had the little, like, microphone thing that you spoke into, and it would make your voice spooky. What are the pros and cons of being in a relationship with a woman? Bro, you're asking a dangerous question. The pros and cons. First of all, to start, there is no woman monolith, right? Every woman that I have lived with in my life, outside, you know, assuming we're setting aside my mother and my sisters and stuff, we're talking about as an adult, romantically, it's been a different experience with each of them. So that leads me to believe that there is no monolithic pro and con to women. Now, there are certain things that are the same, right, between them. Women are more emotionally driven creatures typically, although I have matched that in most of my relationships. I'm a very emotionally driven person. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And so that, having two of those people in the same household can be tough. Let's put it that way. What the fuck happened to Hellraiser vid was so fire. You're absolutely hilarious. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope I can get back to doing that channel one of these days because I really had fun doing Cinema for Cynics. Things are in the works. Irons are in the fire, ladies and gentlemen. Blue Jay. Blue Jay, come down here and eat these flies. There's a big green bottle fly down here that wants eaten. You just snip it. I ain't, dude, I ain't gonna touch you. Chauncey, yeah. I don't have Chauncey. Chauncey is TJ's ward, okay? TJ is Chauncey's caregiver. So TJ has Chauncey somewhere. I don't have Chauncey. I did do a big Alien retrospective. What the fuck happened to Alien last year, I think. And you can go check that out. I mean, it's a really good video. It's funny. I did a bunch of those what the fucks. You know, like talking about plans for videos that I would like to make. I have this idea in my head that my comeback video is going to be what the fuck happened to Hellraiser again. Because there's been new Hellraiser properties. There's a whole Hellraiser comic series out that I want to order. I want to do a comprehensive Hellraiser deep dive. And part of my dream, and I don't know how long this will be, I don't even know if this is feasible, but I'm in love with him, is to get the guy that played Pinhead. His fucking name escapes me, but the guy that played Pinhead. And just interview him about the character and about his methodology as an actor. He wrote a book called Behind the Actor's Mask that I read that is really good. And I think that, Doug Bradley, yeah, thank you. I was just brain farting his name. But yeah, you know, reaching out to Doug Bradley's representation and just be like, look, I read your book. I'm an actor myself. I'm also a content creator and a fan of the Hellraiser franchise. I've done, you know, and show him like, hey, I've done one of the biggest, if not the biggest videos on YouTube about Hellraiser and the franchise. I would love for Doug to give me 5 minutes. Let me ask him 3 questions, you know, 1 about Hellraiser and 2 about his career, you know, that would be great. And, you know, I don't know that he would do that, but there's also another guy. He played the main character in Hellraiser. I can't remember the fucking name of it now. It's the handheld one with the bootleg Pinhead in it. He was the main kid, one of the main kids in that. And he left a long comment on what the fuck happened to Hellraiser. And I feel like I could reach out to that guy and interview him as well about what it was like to make that movie. But I want to go deeper than skin deep. No pun intended. I want to do a Hellraiser deep dive where I say new things about every movie and go a little deeper into the lore and the making of and the methodology behind it. I want to reach out to a bunch of people who were involved in these films and try and interview somebody from each film. That would be so awesome. But I really loved Doug Bradley's book. And I think that might be a good avenue to talk to him, because I think typically if somebody wants to interview him, it's going to be Pinhead, Pinhead, Pinhead. You know, I definitely want to ask him about that role, but I also want to ask him about his book, Behind the Actor's Mask, because he talks about masks being a methodology for acting going all the way back to shamanism and shit, prehistoric civilizations. The first actors were holy men, right? You know, I want to tie that in to him playing kind of the antithesis of a holy man and being this like ubiquitous face of evil. What it was like to wear that mask for a good chunk of his life, you know, that's awesome. Have you read Hellbound Heart, aka Hellraiser? Yes, I have read the Hellbound Heart. I love that book. It is just so you see you see the etymology of Hellraiser in that book. It's like the lexicon for Hellraiser. A lot of things that just really aren't fleshed out in any of the films are explained there. The opening scene to that book, everybody, you should read that even if you stop reading after that. The opening scene of Frank contacting the Cenobites, summoning them, and how they torture him with pleasure and pain, it has to be read. Right, but from our perspective, he's the ultimate evil, right? He's a servant of the devil in the minds of human beings, right? Frank opening the box is so good. Yeah, that part of the book, The Hellbound Heart, is amazing. I mean, I would love to talk to Clive as well. You know, that would be a dream. Because I would love to talk to Clive, not necessarily about the movies and what they're about, but about the censorship and the battle to get that vision from the Hellbound Heart made into a film. So he had to deal with all the censorship and all the bullshit and all the hand-wringing, you know, from the MPAA and all that. And, you know, if he was unrestricted in what he could have made, we'd be talking completely differently about Hellraiser. It would be a movie that is still discussed. Not, oh yeah, that's a cool old 80s horror flick. It would be like Hellraiser pushed the boundaries of what a film could do, what a film could portray, how a film could portray its antagonists and protagonists. Yeah, the part that sticks to me the most from that opening scene of the book is that Frank's skin was so sensitive the dust in the air was hurting him. Yeah, I know. No, I know. The way they describe that is just so great. That whole scene is so wonderful, like him summoning the Cenobites and explaining what he thinks he knows about them before they come, and then they come, you know what I mean? Oh my God. Both free plus tax. More gore, more sex, more deviant sexuality, more combination of gore and sexuality and horror and sex. Yeah, it would have been a whole different universe of film. Oh yeah, mine too, man. That movie, the reason I made that big ass video and the reason I still to this day am obsessed with those movies is because I watched them when I was young. I watched them probably 10 years before I should have. I remember watching the first Hellraiser at 6 or 7 years old. Bro, that's a little young to be exposed to that level of human fucking degeneracy and shit. And I just couldn't get enough. I watched Hellraiser, and then I remember my aunt used to give me these tapes. She would just tape HBO all day for me because she knew I was a movie lover. And she sent me one that had Hellraiser 2, Hell on Earth, or whatever it was. Or whatever that one was called. And then Hellraiser 3. I was obsessed as a kid. And they really are the core of you know, they're up there with Night of the Living Dead as being like the most influential films on my taste in horror movies and in movies in general. So like they're up there, man. Whether they're good or bad, you know, they're up there. Well, it's so funny because once it was proven, I mentioned this in the review, once it was proven that Hellraiser was a hit, they let him do all kinds of crazy shit in the second one. They like had like Frank threatening to rape his niece and like touching her and grabbing her tits, licking her face and stuff. I mean, all that shit was way more deviant and explicit than anything that was in the first one. So as soon as he proved that he was going to make a bunch of money with it, the censorship got lifted a little bit. He got to put a little bit more of that in there. Hellbound, yeah, it's Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and then Hellraiser 3 is Hell on Earth. Okay, yeah. After 3, they fell off a cliff. Well, I would argue that 3 fell off the cliff and dragged the whole series down with it. 3 is, it's still good. Like the Pinhead is good, but the Cenobites are goofy. The whole thing is portrayed like kind of cartoonishly, and it really dragged the whole series. It dragged the whole series. Let's just be fucking real. 1 and 2 are great. 2 starts to show some cracks, but it's good. 1 has its problems as well. I mean, that's the thing about these movies. My argument has never been like, these are great. These are just fucking wonderful films. It is, I can't stop thinking about the universe of these films. I always think about it. Pinhead just comes into my mind sometimes. The Cenobites, the lament configuration is just there in my mind a lot of times, you know? Dude, I just had a whole ass Paul's ego moment, bro. A whole ass Paul's ego moment. I got, you know how like you'll get looking for something in your house and you know it's there and you're like, where is it? Where is it? I know it's here. I had to find a thing. Why to find? In looking for one, I found another. So here's the Doug Bradley book I was talking about. Behind the Mask of the Horror Actor. I would love to interview him about mostly this, because this is really neat. He discusses all kinds of iconic horror movie monsters and villains that have been, and the people that played them. And he begins by just discussing the ideas behind masks in theater and religious ceremony and stuff. Really neat. And then I found the lament configuration. This is what I was looking for. They say you shouldn't play with these, but I really like mine. I've just never gotten it to open, you know? The more I play with it, the more it stymies me, you know? But I like playing with it anyway. It's very. You guys saw that, right? Okay. Oh. I've never gotten that far with it before. I don't know. I just like this thing. This thing is so cool. It's just wood. You opened it. We came. I've got it in backwards.
Well, is it ever really backwards?
Yeah, because look, it's got a sun.
Yeah. But I mean, like it's supposed to go through phases.
That's true. So this is the combined phase.
Yeah.
What's he building in there? Put these down over here.
Just put them somewhere that you think.
I'll keep them somewhere that's easy for me to find them, so I don't have to go through the fucking nightmare again. But I just knew I had it here somewhere. What are your thoughts on the movie It Follows? I love that movie. That movie's got some great scares in it. And, you know, the topic being like, it's a venereal disease horror movie. It's almost like a PSA for casual sex. It's interesting, right? It's like a morality tale, but modern. Instead of like AIDS or, you know, some other horrible, debilitating disease, you've got this thing that moves at a normal human pace, but it'll never stop. It never stops following you. It will find its way to you. And the only way to beat it is to pass it to another person. Yeah, I mean, it's a unsettling movie for multiple reasons. The idea that this thing, whatever it is, it's never really even explained what this is. A demon, an alien, you know, a ghost. That's never really explored. But this thing appears to you as average people. And the only way that you can tell that it's the thing is that the person will be staring right at you and slowly but surely moving towards you. And it'll sometimes appear to you as people you know.
had coffee yet?
Yeah, I had my iced or cold brew or whatever we call it now. Whatever the new name for cold coffee is.
Yeah, well, cold brew just means like it's not
Brewed with heat.
Yeah.
Steeped like tea. What grinds my gears? Not a lot, man, honestly. Like, yeah, I guess there are things that grind my gears, but like, I feel like my gears are harder to grind now that I've gotten older. I get to choose when my gears grind a little bit. Bigotry, homophobia, hatred, ignorance. I guess those things probably above all. Has your favorite movie changed over time? No. No, my favorite movie since I was like probably 12 has been Aliens, and it still is. I still compare movies to it, and I find pretty much every movie I see lacking in some aspect where it doesn't lack. What you think, D? The dirty dusty. The musty crusty. Aliens, yeah, really. Pacing, pitch perfect. Casting, pitch perfect. Set design and world building, pitch perfect. Practical effects magic, pitch perfect. Ending arc, the best one ever filmed. We're talking about the last ditch effort once Ripley sends the fucking guy away and says, "Come back for me," and goes after looking after Newt. That's about the last 20 minutes of the movie. Finest. I mean, it's just like unbelievably well done. Like every aspect of it. Salt of my salt. Cream of my coffee. Yeah, dude, I would love like another marine story. I mean, they would have to really make it stand out, and so they're not just like redoing the marine story from Aliens. But yeah, I'd love to see some colonial marines. Fuck yeah. Why the fuck not? You know? I'm Hudson, sir. He's Hicks. Gotta crack those knuckles, man. I'm very pro knuckle cracking. The smartphone didn't create morons, it facilitated them. It's designed to perpetuate them, but it didn't create them. A moron is ultimately created in the home. If your parents don't raise you right, you're going to be a moron, whether you get a good education or a bad education. It's a Yutani station with super valuable data. Yeah, how did they lose track of that? Why wasn't it swarming with fucking Wayland Yutani agents? How were these fucking like scrappers the only people that know that this giant thing is in the atmosphere? And there was a lot of holes in the plot of the latest Alien film. Yeah. What's your favorite movie of the past 10 years? Fury Road. Might be my favorite movie of the last 20. Eh. Prometheus and Covenant just don't stack. They're good. They're like Prometheus would be a good movie if it wasn't an alien movie. And Covenant is just I can't make no apologies for that fucking shit. It's the worst. It's at the bottom of my alien list now. Goes Aliens, Alien, Alien 3, and now Romulus, then Prometheus, then Alien 4 Resurrection, then Covenant. That's the definitive best to worst list. Is any Tarantino movie in your favorite top 10? I don't really have a top 10 that I maintain, but yes, I love Tarantino. I think he's made some of the most compelling movies of the last 30 years, and I think he'll probably continue to do that, I would imagine, unless he gets bored with it. Alien 3 is Aliens. No, it goes Alien, Alien 1, Aliens, Alien 2, Alien 3, Alien 3, and so forth. Alien 3, the turd bomb. I don't know. Alien 3 gets more hate than it deserves, especially in the reflection of the rest of these fucking Alien movies they've made. And the goddamn... I don't even want to talk about Alien versus Predator. We leave that in spin-off territory, bro. Are you a Coen Brothers fan? Yes, sir. I like some Coens. I'm down with some Coens. Atmosphere of Alien 3 is good. I love that they flip the character of Ripley from a position of power and authority and respect to a position of danger. Like she's the only woman on this penal colony planet. You know, like the very people that are trying to, she's trying to help survive are also a threat to her. And that puts her in this compromised position. I think there's good stuff, like the set design, sound design, set pieces and stuff in Alien 3 are really fucking good. Really good. Atmospherically, it's a really good movie. It just doesn't stack up to Aliens or Alien. And so a lot of people hated it, especially at the time. But now that we've got Resurrection, which is total dog shit, and then Prometheus and Covenant, which don't even really feel like an Alien movie, people have kind of changed their tune on it a little bit. Resurrection's dog shit. Dog shit. Yeah, Resurrection's terrible. It's like a comedy film. If you can believe it. It's a dark comedy. Yay. Aliens is now a dark comedy. Yay. Are you happy? Killing Newton Hicks. Yeah. Ripley literally goes through the 7th circle of hell to save Newton Hicks, and then they die in a cutscene at the beginning of Alien 3. That soured a lot of people. But if you take away your emotional attachment, it does inform Ripley's character on Fiorina 151. Fury, the planet, the prison colony. She's lost. She's lost hope. She's lost a belief in herself. She's in constant danger where she's at. She's being stalked by the same evil, the same alien presence. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. They take Ripley and they build her up. I mean, she starts as the, you know, first officer on the ship, right? Position of authority. So much so that it separates her from her crew in Alien, right? Like her crew like her, but they don't love her because she's a stickler for protocol. She's a leader. Then in Alien, she's stripped of that, but she regains it when she's needed. She's asked to lead this team of Marines to go investigate this place. And she immediately takes charge of it. And the only reason anybody survives it is because they listen to her. Right? So she's had these 2 movies where she's functionally a leader. And in 3, she has to try and find a way to be a leader, but she no longer believes in herself. She no longer has anything worth fighting for. Everybody she loves is dead. Most of them killed by this thing that's still there with them, still stalking them. There's a good foundation in Alien 3, and, you know, is there any difference between animals, an animal's life, and a human's? Yes. 100%. Now, in the grandest of grand scheme of things, no. Life is life is life is life from a macro perspective, but we don't have the luxury of a macro perspective on our own biome. We live in it, we're contained within it, our existence is sustained by it. And in the natural order of things, there are killers and killed, there are predators and prey, there are dominant species, and there are species on their way out, right? So that competition creates a hierarchy. Well, E-Train, you and I just disagree, bro. Covenant was a sloppy mishmash of uncareable characters, weird religious overtones, which I didn't appreciate, and just like too much David. Way too much David. No. I mean, you don't got to say I'm right. We can disagree on a movie, bro. A lot of people liked Covenant. A lot of people did, honestly. I just hated it. To me, it just undermines the whole Alien franchise, retcons the whole existence of the aliens. It just doesn't feel good, man. Do you have a memory foam mattress? No, I have, oh, fuck. I can't remember what it is. But it's a normal mattress. I don't have a box spring and mattress. I've got a mattress on a bed platform. The mattress is like I think it's a Sealy Posturepedic or something. It's a more firm mattress. I can't sleep on a soft mattress. It fucks my back up. So I have to have a pretty extra firm. It's not like my bed is like hard. It's just, it has a lot of resistance. It provides a lot of like support. If I sleep on a real soft, pillowy bed or some shit, you know, how comfortable are our modern lives compared to people 150 years ago? Depends on how you define comfort, right? We have a lot of convenience, but convenience doesn't equal comfort. Yeah, I don't know how to put that. Comfort doesn't seem to be what we have. People are going out of their fucking minds. That's not comfort. People are working 10 jobs. That's not comfort. People can't find a place to live or purchase a property. That's not comfort. So, you know, there are modern conveniences and modern contrivances that make our lives more livable now. I'm not going to say that everybody was way better off in every metric 150 years ago, but as far as comfort goes, there's an argument to be made. I don't know. I don't think we're losing meaning and creativity. I think we're losing a chance to have a society in which meaning and creativity are put in their proper place and not undermined by self-interest. That's the sad part. There's still plenty of meaning to be found. There's still plenty of creativity to enjoy and participate in. Those things haven't died. What has died is people's ability to appreciate those things as an aggregate. You know, we could have had a society that centered art, and now we have a society that can't even talk about it. Has no frame of reference. What do you think about waiting rooms? There are rooms you wait in. I don't fucking know, bro. Rooms you wait in. Where do you want to wait? Where would you rather wait, out in the rain or I don't. Oh, baby.
Sweet. What you doing, Tay? He tries so hard to loaf like Cricket. He's just too long.
Too long. Got too many spindles to bundle up under there. Cricket's just a big old squishmallow, D, and you're all like bony angles. Do you have any stance on the fat acceptance movement? Is it ridiculous or a worthy cause? Okay, I'm a fat person. I've been fat since the 6th grade. And I am constantly reminded by society and everybody around me that I'm fat. And I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that that's a good way to treat people. To judge them on their body weight immediately and to think that you're like in a position above them to lecture them about how they should eat and exercise and how dangerous it is to be big. There's just, everybody out there is a fucking fitness guru and a fucking nutritionist and a doctor and a bariatric health advisor, right? And I don't think that's good. But this, like, with fat acceptance comes something that I can't abide. And that is, I think I've heard it called healthy at any size. Okay, fat acceptance, like, hey, I'm not going to judge you because you're a big person, is different from, hey, you're a big person, but you're just healthy like me. No. You know, so I feel like that, like, I'm all for, like, fat people not being pariahs in society, especially now since obese people are, like, the majority in this country, right? The majority of people are obese, right? At the very least, like, overweight. So I do think it would be nice for fat people to have to deal with their problems like everybody else does without constant running commentary on what they ought to be eating, doing, sleeping, farting. You know what I mean? Like, every little aspect of their life comes under the microscope to everybody else just because they're not fat. And a lot of the people that are going to lecture you about how you could get unfat are people that just have naturally high metabolisms and are probably unhealthy themselves. You know what I mean? Like, and I've got to sit here and listen to your shit just because you've got a metabolism that burns fat and I have one that stores it. Like, go fuck yourself.
Can I tell you how I understand health at every size differently?
Sure, yeah, let's hear it.
So, what I understand from it is it's not that it's saying, like, fat is fine. It's saying that there's other aspects of health besides weight, and it could be more conducive for a lot of people to focus on those other aspects of health without weight being at the forefront. Like exercising without the goal of weight loss. Eating just generally better, but not necessarily
Then they need to
dieting.
name it something else. Because healthy at any size it comes off and is often defended in the videos and stuff we've watched as like, I'm fat, but that doesn't mean I'm unhealthy. And it's like, well, I get what you're saying. You can be fat and not be doing something unhealthy because you're in the process of losing weight.
Or you're just trying to do other things. Like maybe you're fat, but you're also trying to quit smoking. Maybe like I'm just saying, like I think the overall message is just that weight isn't the end all be all of health.
I just think it's poorly named and poorly defended a lot of times because I think a lot of fat people don't know what you just told me that run around saying healthy at any size. I've seen it used more social media wise as a I'm fat and I'm just as healthy as you, seethe. You know? This is the ideal human form, and it's somebody that weighs 450 pounds mugging for the camera. It's like,
yeah, I can see what you feel like. It's kind of lost its meaning.
It's like defund the police. It
should have been redirect.
Reform the police.
Yeah.
Should have been like, reform the police would have been way better than defund. Because it just got run away, and there are anarchists and shit on the left that were like, hell yeah, take all the money from these fucking pigs, right? And so a lot of people ran with it in a way it wasn't meant, and that was used as ammo against the movement. I think it's the same thing with healthy at any size. They should just pick like,
health first, weight second, or something.
No, because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Because your weight has such an impact on, because it's like, one of the things I was going to say is like, okay, let's say you're focusing on your mental health. Well, your mental health is so negatively impacted by your physical body when you're obese that how are you really, because like, look at me. Like a lot of my ability to navigate better and to be more engaged in the world and shit over the last 6 months has been because I'm losing weight. It's like I'm getting healthier. My body is not in pain all the time. I'm sleeping better as a result. And that has been so how do you work on your mental health without working on your body being 480 pounds?
You didn't make significant progress on that until you addressed the sleep apnea.
Sure, but...
So like it was addressing that first rather than the weight first that helped you.
But my sleep apnea was massively exacerbated by the fact that I was almost 400 pounds.
But the sleep apnea was also exacerbating your weight gain because you weren't getting...
I get it. I get what you're saying, but it just... Yeah. I understand the perspective. And I think you're probably right, that when people started using that terminology, they meant like, hey, I'm big, but that doesn't mean that I'm unhealthy in every aspect. Spiritually, I'm okay. Mentally, I'm working on it. I just quit smoking. I'm healthy in other ways. I'm nurturing. I get it. But that's not how it's used by a lot of people. It's like posting up a big 800-pound woman and going like, healthy means whatever I want it to mean. And you know what I mean? They're really trying to push this idea that fat is healthy. And no, it isn't. It's unhealthy. And it negatively impacts almost everything that you could talk about working on. Like it drags your whole life. So it's just a poorly named thing. And then you got low information people that look into it surface deep and they run with it.
Yeah, even like the like magazine covers that people were shitting on about health at every size, like a lot of them, you know, like it was showing a fat person, but like in athletic gear. And if you read the article, it'd be like, you know, I'm still an athlete even though I'm fat.
I mean, sometimes there's that. There's also a lot of just like...
But that's what I mean by like, if people they were just looking at the cover and not reading the article. Which was,
I get it. Yeah, I get it. I just have fought it since I was a kid. And I know how destructive it has been to my life and my self-esteem and my health to be fat all this time. And I know how it's negatively reached its claws into every aspect of my life and crushed things and stopped me from, you know what I mean? Like it can't be ignored. So like health at any size, you cannot be a healthy person and weigh 500 pounds. You just can't. So you don't have health. You could drop dead at any second. You're not healthy. You might be mentally okay with being giant, but you're in pain all fucking day. You're winded at the very, like just the basic shit. Getting onto a toilet is a fucking nightmare. Washing yourself is a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like, how are you healthy? You're mentally healthy and you have to have help lifting up your fupa so you can get underneath it with a rag on a stick.
Yeah, like it's definitely, like I said, it's too broad of a term.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's, inclusive of everyone up to the point of like being disabled just by your sheer weight.
Yeah. So I don't know. Wellness over weight. You can't have wellness. Wellness is a state of health. You can't be well and 400 pounds plus or 300 pounds plus if we're real, unless you're a fucking like 7'2" athlete that's doing like wrestling or basketball or fucking weightlifting or something or bodybuilding. Like you should never have a 3 at the beginning of your weight as a human being, unless you're in very specifically fucking outlier.
Like the mountain.
Right, the mountain that rides, he can't help it. That dude could starve himself. He'd probably still weigh 300 pounds. There's just too much of him. Damn, you look old, Paul. I know, dude. It's weird. As the years go by, man continues to age. Scientists are baffled and alarmed. I love those type of things. It's like, I am old. How am I supposed to look? Fresh as a fucking daisy? Bro, I'm fucking halfway through my 40s. Get at me.
Another one first.
Man, I don't even care, bro. I'm not trying to look good, do you? Or bad, do you? And my fucking appearance is such a topic on these streams. It's like, I'm gonna start wearing a mask up in here. And then everybody will just talk about that. It gets tiresome, bro. You look old. Your hair is not... I'm like, I understand a lot of people, it comes from a fucking good place, but I'm just tired of discussing my appearance. Can we not? I don't care. I'm not trying to look great. I'm not trying to look bad. I'm trying to be comfortable. I'm trying to look how I like to look. If you like it, sick. If you hate it, sick. You've got all the choice in the world to not look like me or to try and look like me. You know what I mean? None of it fucking, none of it matters to me. It matters to you. Might as well be yelling at the wind. I know. That's the story of my fucking life, bro. In fact, somebody will write a fucking biography about me and it'll be called Yelling at the Wind, the Paul's Ego story. Or Old Man Shakes Fist at Cloud, the Paul's Ego story. I get it. What do I think about Big Pharma? I don't know that I can actually say what I think about Big Pharma. Let's put it this way. If aliens came down and abducted every member of the Sackler family and every other big pharmaceutical company was just cut off at the knees because every executive just disappeared into the belly of some inscrutable alien ship and they were taken away to be experimented on for all eternity, the world would be a better place. How's that? That's the best I can do. The fact that the pharmaceutical industry isn't a nationalized, government-driven, government-funded industry. It's a private industry that gets to decide whether or not you get a life-saving drug. They get to charge you $90,000 a pill, but because the laws are just slightly different in Canada, they get it for $2 a dose. And that's their business model, is raping you when you're sick. How's that? I think they're parasites on the planet. And if aliens were to come down and abduct them and spirit them away from this planet forever, we would all be the better for it.
Yeah, I read another article like just about the whole problem with monetizing healthcare. Like apparently a bunch of hospitals are closing their like maternity wards because business isn't consistent enough with people giving birth.
Yeah, they don't want to keep all the specialized trained people on staff 24/7, so they just closed the ward.
Yeah.
They closed the whole hospital in Madera. Madera doesn't even have a hospital now.
Mm-hmm.
It had a hospital before I was born,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tiny. Now it's tripled in size in my lifetime, and they have to drive 45 minutes to the nearest hospital. Uh-oh. How's that fucking private health care going for you?
Yeah. And part of it, too, is like Medicaid. A lot of times they added a bunch of people to Medicaid, but they didn't give Medicaid enough money to pay the hospitals a good amount of money. So, like, the hospital was losing money every time they took a Medicaid patient.
Yeah. It's just not working.
Yeah.
And the answer is visible everywhere you look in the first world.
Yeah, you don't see, like, oh, Canada closed their hospital
Yeah.
because there just wasn't enough
Canadian hospitals are closing.
lucrative patients.
Yeah, it's just like all of that is handled everywhere else in the world, but for some reason we just can't get it done here. It's not even on the agenda anymore here.
Yeah.
2020, it was like one of the top 3 things.
Yeah.
Now it's not even on the top 10 list.
Yeah.
People don't even fucking care anymore because we live in such a low information society. We're so bombarded by constant fucking 24-hour news. We can't care about something for longer than a cycle. So now people are just going to die from lack of health care, go broke from lack of health care. That's just part of the American dream now. It's not even on the agenda for the Harris administration. Not even being discussed.
But your debt won't be on your credit report.
It still will. They're not even going to do that.
Yeah.
That's a fucking empty promise.
Yeah.
Be shocked if that happens. It won't. The parliamentarian will intercede. So, man, people want me to participate in this. I can't do it. So I was talking about it last night during the Kamala Gauntlet. This is my last cycle, guys. I hope you enjoy it. It's my last cycle as a dude that has anything serious to say about football, FUBA, fucking red versus blue politics up in America.
Well, like that Onion little clip that you watched about, like, bullshit is the primary concern of most voters.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Bullshit has become the main thing.
Yep. Everybody likes bullshit now.
Yeah.
So I'm out. I've been out for a while, but I've been a commentator on it because I try and relay the importance of putting pressure on fucking politicians and not just handing them a victory 4 years before they even run. Extract some concessions. Show them you're not willing to vote for their right-wing agenda. Because people just like drooling and cheering all over Kamala when she's done like 3 backflips right. She's now a border fascist. She's now fucking unabashedly pro-Israel, pro-war, pro-military industrial complex, pro-corporate, pro-fracking, pro-oil industry, anti-health care. She's a Republican. She is a Republican with liberal social aesthetics. And the fact that a bunch of people who care about queer people, care about brown people, immigrants, migrants, the third world, are cheering like clapping seals for that woman, I can't participate no more. So from now on, after this one, because I got to finish this one out, after this one, 0 analysis from Paul Zigo. All you will get is jokes.
Yeah, the bullshit that everyone else seems to care more about than policy.
Yep. I'm going Carlin.
People decided what they want. They want bullshit at the forefront, so that's what you're going to do.
So I'm going to bullshit the bullshit. I'm going to laugh at it. I'm going to point at it. I'm going to talk about how stupid you are for participating in it. But as far as analysis, you ask me, hey, Paul, who are you voting for? The answer is going to be, I'm undecided. And then after the election, hey, Paul, who did you vote for? That's none of your goddamn business. And that's that. That's my political analysis starting in November. I'm done. I'm done. I'll talk labor shit because that's not politics. I'll talk direct action because that's not politics. You'll still hear all that shit out of me. But as far as what I think about the FUBA going on, you gonna root for the FUBA team? Nope. You gonna waste your intellectual energy trying to contextualize a rigged game? Nope. Have fun with it. Have fun with your political distraction / infotainment.
You'll engage the same way everyone else is.
I'll be over here fucking on you for the lulz.
Yep.
And talking about shit that matters to me.
Politicians at this point, like, they look dumb. That's what everyone else wants to hear, apparently, so.
No DC? No, I still plan on making it to DC. Maybe not this year, but that was always the case. Mm-hmm. This year has changed. We were going to do an East Coast meetup. That's over. We were going to do a West Coast meetup. That's over. Meetups have been pushed. It's just not, the climate is not good for travel and making money right now. So, kind of sucks. So next year, 2025, now I'm not going to do it. If I get back east this year, which I really hope to, it's not going to be to go to DC.
Yeah. Well, it's just bad timing. It's like, let's put pressure on people, like, either right after they got elected or, like, right before they get elected.
The pressure is the pressure.
Yeah.
And, like, the whole idea of it is just to be a thorn in the side of the political class for a week and get them on tape, getting frustrated with me and saying out-of-pocket shit. That's it. That has nothing to do with playing football politics. I'm not going to be hunting down just one senator. I'm going to be looking at all of them and asking them why they continue to support this, that, or the other. But, you know, I don't have unlimited money, and I don't have unlimited time, and I'm not unbound by the rules of society and the needs of my life and shit. I just can't fucking drop everything and do it by the end of the year. I thought I'd be moved by now. I thought I'd be in a new house in the area I wanted to be, and I could start lining out all these trips. Dude, I don't even know where I'm going to be next month. I don't know. You're not saying you're done with political commentary. You're just done with electoralism. I'm done with politics as it exists in America. I will talk labor. I'll talk solidarity. I'll talk working people issues. I'll talk populism. I'll talk economic populism. So I guess I'm not done with commenting on things that politicians use as footballs. But as far as this rah, sis, boom, bah, arguing with you about what you're doing with the Democrats or the Republicans, how you're going to vote, all of that shit, all this analysis of like, is Joe demented? All the gaslighting, all the bullshit, all the constant fucking like endless discussion of it, that's over. I'm going to point, look, like I said, I'm going Carlin. I got a ticket to the freak show and I've been using it improperly. I've been watching the freak show and getting all bent out of shape by it. Now I'm just going to point and laugh. So, coming soon to a stream near you, a Paul's Ego that never talks about Democrats or Republicans ever again, other than to laugh at them.
Surface level analysis, that's what you get.
Not even that. Surface level comedic analysis is what you get.
Like, that guy's hair looks stupid.
Yep.
That guy's voice sounds funny.
Why doesn't Elon Musk want Tesla to be in a union, Paul? Why doesn't any business owner want their workers to be in a union? Yeah. That's the question, right? Why are corporations and business owners so opposed to the American right to collectively bargain for your wage?
Well, there's certain businesses that, like, Amazon has built their model under, we're going to push people to the limit, and we don't care that the turnover rate is insanely high, because we want the turnover rate to be so high that people can't organize because they can't last long enough.
Right.
They'd rather pay to retrain people all the time.
Cycle out, have high turnover in their business so that nobody is ever there long enough to establish a union in the first place. That's the easiest way to do it. And that's the way that a lot of these, like, low-skilled, which is kind of, like, used as a pejorative, but we're just talking about,
just
like,
mean, like,
you don't have to have...
doesn't take, like, 5 years.
You don't have to have, like, specialized training and certification to run the fry basket at McDonald's. You just need to be trained on how not to burn yourself on the grease. Takes a couple days, and then they turn you loose on it.
Yeah, the only businesses that really care about turnover are the ones where, you know, it has to be extensive training, or they have to look for very specialized people, and the recruiting process takes months.
Right. So, like, yeah, those types of businesses, they don't want their employees being able to bargain for higher wages, because that means they'll have to raise prices on their drinks and probably hurt their business. They want to be able to keep that sweet spot where they're paying you dog shit, they're overcharging the customer, and they're reaping the maximum amount of fucking net value for every transaction.
And they don't care if you quit the next day.
Nope.
They'll find someone
They
else.
don't give a shit. There's no investment in you as an employee in most places. Some places are different, but most places, like McDonald's, you go work there. You get hired today. It's your first shift. You go in there and you do it, and then you no call, no show tomorrow. They don't give a fuck.
They ain't even going to call you
Nope.
and see if you're okay.
Nope, they're not even going to try and call you in. You're just fired. They'll send you your check, and they've got another person training that day. They don't give a fuck. You have no power in that situation because there's no union. What force on earth is weaker than the meager force of one? The union makes us strong.
Because, yeah, they trick people with the whole right to work thing. It's like, do you really want to just not be able to just walk out the door? They're like, so they've changed the paradigm to where it's like, instead of trying to make your workplace better, just go find a better job.
Yep.
Which just hurts everyone if everyone's chasing the next thing.
Yep. How do you feel about Tulsi Gabbard? I've really been seeing some wisdom in her words lately. She's starting to come across more and more like smart, you know? Like a good politician. I don't get it, man. Not just kidding. I called that bitch a Republican, and I'm on note calling that bitch a Republican back in the 2019-2020 cycle.
Or you mean 2016?
Or, 2016 cycle when she was running, yeah. I was on record. Well, didn't she pop up in 2020? Yeah, no, she did.
Oh, it was 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought she did it again. in
No, 2016, she wasn't even on the stage
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
No, she was governor of Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a senator from Hawaii. I can't remember which one. Anyway. Yeah, 2020, she was one of the Democratic politicians. And in 2019, during the debate cycle, I got a ton of shit from people because I was like, that bitch is a Republican. And they were like, she's based. But every time she talked about war, it was Republicanism that came out of her mouth. Every time she talked about immigration, it was Republicanism. She was like...
But now, could you even tell the difference if we'd had the same thing?
Well, she moved.
Yeah.
Now she's actually a Republican.
I know, but with current Democrats, could you even tell?
No, she moved with the Democratic Party. She
Yeah.
just joined the other side.
Yeah.
And I called that out too back in 2019. I said the only reason that anybody's into this chick politically is because they want to fuck her. And that's still the way it is.
It would be funny to do, like, once we finally get an actual primary debate again, to, like, put it side by side to, like, the last primary debate and see how the rhetoric has changed so much.
Right.
Like, put the new Democrat primary debate against, like, the 2020 or 2016 Republican debate.
Yeah.
And see.
See what the differences are. What's your view on arbitration for collective bargaining? There should be a rule, and the NLRB needs to act on this immediately. There should be a rule that after a certain amount of good faith attempts at contracts, companies should be forced to sign a reasonable contract, and that reasonability should be decided by the NLRB. So a company has the right to arbitrate for up to 6 months, and then at 6 months, if that contract submitted to the NLRB as written by the labor advocates is reasonable, then that company has no choice anymore. Arbitration is ended and the contract is adopted and signed.
Yeah, and that incentivizes the company to,
act in good faith.
Yeah, because otherwise they're just stuck with something.
Right. Otherwise, you get 6 months of delay and then you're stuck with what they want and nothing else. So it forces companies to be on a timeline and to be reasonable with their workers. And it removes the number one way. This is how Amazon beat the Amazon Workers Union. This is how Starbucks is continuing to batter back the nascent Starbucks union. Okay? It's not you don't fight it. You don't necessarily fire everybody that's talking about it. You just endlessly refuse to submit to any contract. You keep them tied up in arbitration until they run out of money and support. Then you fire them.
And then you get all these people saying, unions didn't do shit for me.
Yeah, man, I tried the union thing and all that happened was nothing, man. Fuck it. That's what they're doing. So that's how they crush unions right now. Under current law, there is no rule saying that a company eventually has to accept a good faith contract so they can spin you out for 20 years in arbitration.
That's usually when strikes happen, when it's just been stuck in arbitration for an unreasonable amount of time.
Yep. And they know that these nascent unions don't have the numbers to pull off a good strike. They don't have the money to bus in Starbucks workers from all over the fucking country.
They don't have the money to support these people from not just giving up on the strike
Nope.
and going back.
And so the union dies. So now the conventional wisdom of these smaller unions seems to be get under the umbrella of the Teamsters because they'll actually provide money, support, and strike support. As long as you're being reasonable and you're getting fucked over, if you're large enough, join the Teamsters. The Teamsters are recruiting right now. And I think a lot of these other unions that are, even the ones that are slightly like competing with the Teamsters in size, should get under the umbrella. One big union. That's my vision. One big union covers every worker, every fucking job, doctors, lawyers, everybody. Anybody that works for an organization has the right to collectively bargain for their compensation. I believe that to my core. I don't believe to my core that current organizations should exist the way that they do. But if they do, which they will, then I believe that workers have every right to band together and collectively bargain for their compensation package and their protection package. And their fucking protections from the extremities of labor. Period. One big union, baby. The most exciting thing to me that's upcoming, politically speaking, is Sean McDonald talking about a Teamsters general strike in 2028. And he's mobilizing and working with these bigger unions. I hope he's successful. I will support it rhetorically. I'll support it monetarily if I need to. That's the most exciting political development in America going on right now, if you ask Paul Zigo. 2028, Teamsters and affiliated union general strike. Time to take it back, boys. Time to take it back, ladies. They're not going to give it, so it's time to take it. How much faith should we have in the NLRB? Not much. But their rules of conduct do help labor. Should we have faith in them to continue to do that? No. They're politically aligned and politically appointed. No. One of the things that we learned in the Gilded Age labor revolution in this country was that there were no politicians that were friends of labor. The early labor movement was absolutely stymied by politicians talking to the labor movement and going, I'm for you. They get elected, crack down, bitches, psych. So the early labor movement almost died in the cradle because they attached themselves to the Republican Party, who at the time was the left-leaning party. And the Republican Party crushed them. So one of the first lessons of the international labor movement was politicians are no friend of labor. Their words mean nothing. Their actions mean little. It is a laborer's job to secure labor. That was the first lesson, man. And we've unlearned it. We somehow unlearned it. And now it's coming to reap the whirlwind again. People putting all their faith in these government institutions, these politicians. had to make a drink, and I had to pee, and I had to talk. So, break over, though. No, I'm probably going to wrap this up here soon because, like, I can feel it. It's still nice, but I can feel it turning from nice to hot.
Yeah.
So, and I've been rolling. I started at, like, 6:30. Damn. Damn, son, that's a long stream you got there.
Yeah. We're getting a week of hundreds.
Yeah.
It's still on the downslope, though. It's not as bad as, like, July when it was 110 plus.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that.
And at this point, we're so acclimated to it that it's not as...
It's not as bad.
It's not smacking us in the face anymore.
Smacks me in the psyche, but not the face.
Yeah.
Big bro, if common sense sound crazy, I can't help you. It's pretty simple. More demand, higher prices, less workers, higher wages, higher demand. What? Is that putting food on your table right now? Because if it isn't, it's just fucking cope. You eating a turkey dinner tonight off of common sense? Whatever, bro. Enjoy your fucking thankless job where you have no say in what you get compensated. Lil bro. Whenever I ask people why we aren't union in my company, even though we are in other states, they always say dumb shit like union dues and other stupid quote-unquote reasons. Then yeah, they're gonna make shit.
Well, yeah, that's why they have those captive meetings. They wanted,
Yep.
like, I remember one of the jobs I did recently, it was like this whole video I had to watch about, like, why not being in a union's so much better.
Yep. They used to have, I went through, because I was with Starbucks for 8 years, and I went through 4 captive anti-union presentations where they talked about how, like, you know, your paycheck will go down and your protections go down, and
There's gonna
Starbucks
be all
already
these
leads the industry.
people in the way of you talking to your manager.
Yep.
Acting like a union's like, you can't even tell your manager anything.
Yeah. Why is this hard to understand? The more cheap labor available, employers have no need to raise wages. Even if thousands are seeking to rent one house, prices rise. How so? Huh?
So what, are you saying that all we have to do is just kill half the population, then everyone's wages will go up? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah, just let everybody die of starvation, and then the people that don't die of starvation, their wages will go up because their labor's in high demand. All right, little bro. Sounds like a good-ass fucking way to live your life. I wish you luck with it. But we're done arguing. No, I'm saying you need to control mass immigration. Oh, you're one of those. I gotcha. So we need to control mass immigration in a country that was built on mass immigration and that has benefited from mass immigration every year of its existence since it was founded and before. Okay, tell me more, little bro.
And whose fault is it that immigrants are being hired? Like, is it maybe your boss's fault?
Yeah,
is it the
or is it the company's fault for hiring illegal labor because they know they can pay them under the table? Like, why are illegals coming here? They shouldn't be able to find a job. It's illegal to hire somebody that isn't an American citizen in this country.
Or has a work visa.
Right. So...
is it the immigrant's fault, or is it the company's fault for hiring them?
Most problems are from oversupply. Huh?
Because there's a lot of jobs out there that definitely don't have oversupply. Like, have you seen the healthcare worker shortage? There's a police shortage.
Yeah, why aren't all these immigrants, why aren't you going to the hospital and they go like, Orale, what's going on? I just got here from Tijuana. I'm your doctor. That doesn't happen. Why is that not happening? You get pulled over for a ticket. Orale, Holmes. Chale, I just got here from Tijuana. How's it going? I'm a cop. Why are there cop shortages? Why are there health worker shortages? Why are there teacher shortages? Why are there fucking factory shortages? My contention is because it no longer makes sense to work for these fucking places. Because the fucking paycheck isn't enough to justify the labor. Your prescription is close the borders and everything will be gravy again. No. I think you're whack. I don't even think this dude's taking a macroeconomics class. I think he's just literally repeating some shit that he heard on Ben Shapiro or some shit.
And you know what else immigrants are?
What?
Customers. Business gets bigger the more customers you have. You know what you need more than workers? Customers.
Yeah. Yeah. This idea that, like, corporate welfare is based, but human welfare isn't, is fucking retarded. If you have, here's how I feel about your company. If you got a shitty company who makes a shitty product that's outcompeted in the market, your company goes under and you go work for somebody like the rest of us. Not you get a federal loan guarantee and you get matching funds and you get special laws made because you spent what little money you had lobbying the local government and blah, blah, blah to help you with your shit business. That's why a lot of people will go like, hey, Paul, how do you feel about this, dude? If you were in charge, all these companies would leave. I'd say I'd throw them a fucking going away party. Buy Google, buy Facebook, buy Elon. See how you fare in China, bitch. And you know what would happen in America? Those gaps would be filled by people that would love to follow my new regulations and make $1 million. Let them go. Why are we such simps? What if Coca-Cola disappears? Who fucking cares? Get them out.
You know how easy, like, someone has figured out how to reverse engineer Coca-Cola. It's been done multiple times.
You don't need these companies. They don't own you. They don't provide value. They extract it out of you. Let them go. They don't want to follow the goddamn rules. Everybody whines about it. Oh, if you do that, then Google will leave. Woo! Yeah,
Like
Google leaves.
Have a dozen competitors.
Google leaves, and there are already 10,000 people waiting in the wings to be the next big fucking thing and fill that gap and follow every goddamn rule to the T. Let them go. The auto manufacturers will just leave. Let them go.
Because you know who still knows how to do all the shit? The people that were working for them.
Yeah, the blue-collar people that are working for them will be happy to take out a fucking federal loan and start a car factory. Give me a break, bitch. Let them go. There's hungry people in this country that want to work their balls off. Let them go. Let these lazy, fat oligarchs go to China, Russia, and see how they fare. See how they like the regulations in Europe. You want to talk about some fucking business regulations? Where are they going to go? Where are they going to go that's going to let them extract $1 billion from the land and not give any of it back? You think China's going to let Google just show up and not integrate all that money right into the Chinese economy? Think they're just going to be like, oh yeah, you can be a quasi fucking $1 trillion company and give nothing to China. Welcome. Fuck them. They will follow. Here's exactly what will happen. You put the regulation in place, and Google will keep churning billions of dollars. What are you ranting about? Get him out. What do you want me to do? Stop mid-rant? Give you a fucking update? Get him out. Too stupid to engage with a content creator. Get Fallen Zoe out of my face. If you are too stupid to speak, get out. We're in an adult conversation about adult things. And if you can't be a fucking adult for 10 seconds and you didn't learn how to read, write, or comprehend media, then keep your fucking yap shut. It is a waste of time for me to deal with you when you reveal your retardation. So keep it shut. This is an adult place for adult things. Regulations are great, but depends how far it goes. It can stifle innovation. It's why I don't see companies like Google, Tesla, etc. coming from an EU country.
You know
That
what?
is one more run-on sentence out of you, bro. You better go back to fucking grammar school for a minute and learn how to use a period and a comma to break up your thoughts, because I'm not reading one more fucking gobbledygook run-on sentence from your libertarian ass.
And you know why those companies succeeded in America? It wasn't for lack of regulations, it was for corporate welfare.
It's because all of your tax dollars go to bail them out when they make bad decisions.
You know
Look
how
at what happened in 2008. Look at how many tax dollars went bailing out banks and financial lending institutions and housing institutions in 2008. You don't get that bailout. You lose your job. Your tits up, mate. But if your name is Goldman Sachs, your ass gets floated a few $1 billion to cover your bad business. Argue with that. You don't seem to argue against my point. You're a sea lion. Ban him. Caught, bitch. Banned. You already wasted enough of my time. Get out. Too stupid.
Tesla only exists because they were able to sell carbon credits to other companies for like a decade.
Yep. Whew. Man, it is just like a wall of moronism out there. This is why I've left the world of politics is soon to be behind me. Because you can't argue with stupid. You can't argue with fucking Dunning-Kruger run amok. That dude couldn't even fucking type at a 4th grade level. He didn't know how to use a comma, a period, didn't know how to separate out a thought. He was literally just paragraph after paragraph of run-on shit. And I made one mention of it after doing nothing but talking about his points. And he goes, seems like all you want to do is dance around my point. Sea lion. That's what they call that. That's a sea lion. They're not trying to make a point. They're trying to take up your time and your attention. And he got it too. He got like 10 minutes of me. That retard is out there. They can vote. Too much. Too much to think about anything good happening from the current political system when that's the electorate. So I'm done. I'm out.
He's probably even full of shit about English as my second language.
I don't even give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I've seen plenty of fucking people from like...
I talk to people from all over the fucking world up in here.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes they're not exactly legible, but I never have a problem understanding what they say. Isn't that weird?
If anything, they're more concerned about grammar than
Yeah.
native English speakers.
Yeah. 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 Humble pie fucking rules. I agree. Got an old head in here. The Redwood Rambler, dude. Flag it. Is the moon landing humanity's greatest achievement? No. Humanity's greatest achievement was electrical engineering and the harnessing of electrical power to free us from having to burn wood in order to light our homes.
The moon is cool, but what does it avail?
The moon is neat, but it couldn't have been done without electrical engineering. That's the greatest thing we ever did. Harnessing and channeling electrical energy and generating it in various ways is the greatest thing we ever did. What about fire? Fire is still dogs our heels as one of our greatest adversaries. Fire is not, we didn't make fire.
Yeah, lightning caught something and they're like,
Right.
oh, I can also spark things.
We didn't make electrical energy either, but we harnessed it and channeled it through a nationwide network, generated it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. That unlocked everything that's good about the modern age. So that's it. Going to the moon was neat, but none of it would have been possible without electrical engineering. That's it. Is it true, Paul, that humans grew bigger brains because they started cooking their food and it took less energy to digest it? I don't know. I'm not an anthropologist or a anthrobiologist, so I couldn't tell you. It's an interesting idea. I don't know how much scientific merit is there, though.
Evolutionary biology is very nascent and wishy-washy. It's
I mean, it's an entirely, it's a pretty speculative science. I mean, there are rigors to it, though.
Yeah.
It's not just like willy-nilly. But yeah, I mean...
You can't test it the same way, obviously.
Not now.
Yeah.
Quantum computing will change that, because we will be able to run simultaneously instantaneous permutations of genetic combinations until we find the right one. And we'll be able to, like, reverse engineer that to find out a lot about how we developed as a species. Right now, our knowledge on that is not even limited by our scientific imagination. It's limited by our computing power. What needs to happen is simulation, endless micro simulation of different permutations of telomeres.
Yeah. Well, like, I think I remember Dawkins talking about, like, even like a very simplistic simulation helped them learn a lot about mutations.
And so quantum computing, which is, you know, going to unlock computing cycles that are just completely and utterly dwarf even the maximum output of a modern silicon architecture. Like, that is going to unlock the ability for humanity to understand genetics in a deeper way, astrophysics in a deeper way, and make no bones about it, in the scientific community, we are racing towards that. It's the most exciting thing to most scientists right now, is the idea of what it would unlock to their research subject if they had a quantum computer available to them. If they were able to endlessly permutate and simulate, they would be able to find so many more eureka moments and fill in a lot of the gaps that are just left there because we can't test and repeat it, you know? So that's the most exciting technology, by the way, that's on the horizon, is quantum computing. Quantum computing is going to unleash a force on this planet. It's literally the singularity, right? Because quantum computing melded with AI becomes a tool so powerful that it's like godlike. We're going to be able to create systems and technologies that are unimaginable to us in a micro fraction of the amount of time it would have taken us to reach it by modern contrivance. With our normal rate of acceleration, even as fucking up as it is, it would take 1,000 years for us to get to what I think we're going to have in 100. So it's unimaginable how much that is going to change. Ones and zeros. Well, see, that's the thing, is like, that's quantum computing releases us from the binary nature of computing, which is not changed since they started doing computer research in the late 40s.
Like, I can do a lot of stuff, but being limited by that.
Zeros and ones, false or true.
Yeah.
Quantum computing it's not limited by binary. It's theoretically unlimited in the amount of data points that it can use in its architecture. It just unlocks the universe. It's the keys, and we're on the cusp. Yeah, it can be 1 and 0. 1 and 0 can hold a superposition. It can be neither 1 nor 0. You know?
I mean, Climate Armageddon
is slow.
Yeah.
You need to, like, watch a documentary. It doesn't even have to be super duper, like, fucking dense. Watch a fucking entertaining documentary about the different mass extinction events that have happened over the course of history, and how long it took to go from an environment that was pretty much ideal for the animals living on it to an environment that wouldn't support life. It didn't happen overnight, except in one instance, Chicxulub. That's the one instance we know that life was challenged by something that happened overnight. A giant asteroid the size of Texas, or maybe not Texas, the size of New York City, slammed into the Earth at like 50,000 miles an hour and created basically winter on the planet. So it immediately exterminated a huge swath of animals that lived near the Chicxulub impact.
And created this giant cloud.
Created tsunamis that were a fucking half-mile high that crushed everything inland. Mm-hmm. The shit that did survive lived in permanent midnight for 200 years.
Yeah, they were the burrowing animals.
And that's why we are here. We're the dominant species because our ancestors were tiny little things that could eat vegetable matter that had died and mushrooms and all the little bugs that were feeding on the decaying remnants, right? Everything that was big that needed lush vegetation or giant chunks of meat croaked. Only the little mammals and the tiny little lizards, tiny little dinosaurs survived any of it. Every other mass extinction event, and there have been three mass extinction events that have happened in the history of Earth, and we're currently in the fourth. Or no, is it the sixth? I think it's the sixth. There have been 5 mass extinction events where life was reduced to a 10th or less.
Yeah, the first one was algae.
First one was algae. The second one was volcanic. The third one was the Ice Age.
Oh, there was the trees too, remember?
Oh, yeah, the trees. Okay, I forgot that one. That was before the volcanic. So the first one was algae. The second one was the trees choking all life out on land and preventing anything from happening, creating too much oxygen. Then that paired back, and it was volcanic. So giant period of huge upheaval in the continents created these huge mega volcanoes that spewed all this ash into the environment. That precipitated a mass cooling event that set off a cycle that another cycle later would become a deep freeze event on the planet, which was the latest mass extinction event on the planet. Humans were alive during that, modern humans. And now we're going through the 6th. And it took forever for this shit to happen. And every other example other than Chicxulub.
Yeah, the algae just didn't suddenly decide, oh,
Nope.
we're just going to cough up too much.
Nope.
algae.
It just slowly but surely choked out life.
Yeah.
And made the seas barren. Same thing with the trees. Same thing with the fucking... the continents didn't move overnight. These super volcanoes didn't erupt overnight. It took thousands of years. And this climate collapse that we're seeing is moving faster than any of those, but it's still going to take hundreds of years, maybe 50 to 100 years from now, before parts of the planet are uninhabitable due to heat. So it's not something that's probably going to happen in your lifetime. Quantum computing will. We're on the cusp of it. People don't talk about it, but it's about to change the whole fucking planet. The face of human civilization will no longer make sense. 50 years to 100 years before the equatorial belt is uninhabitable due to lethal wet bulb temperature. Currently, a third of the population of the Earth lives in the affected zone, the equatorial belt. A third of the Earth's population will be fleeing unlivable heat and humidity within the next 50 to 100 years. We know that for an absolute incontrovertible fact. That's not speculative, that's just the truth. So, and that's not the end of all things, that's just step 1 of the collapse. 1/3 of the Earth's population fleeing north and south. 100% not true. It's already true in certain parts of the equatorial belt, so don't talk to me unless you're a fucking climate scientist. You're arguing with climatology. You're not arguing with somebody's opinion. We do have the measurements to test that. Look up lethal wet bulb temperature. Go look it up, bitch. Don't loll at me, salt and oil, you punk ass fucking guy spinning opinion. Go to Google and search. Oh, there it is. Get upset. Ban him. Bitch wasn't here to talk. Bitch was here to try and be right with his opinion. Get out. Too dumb to speak to me, motherfucker. Try somebody else someday, though. You want to argue with the entire science of climatology and say, nuh-uh. And then when I call you on it, lol, get mad. Wow. I hope you're breeding. I hope you make a bunch of dumb little fucking mouth breathers just like you, bud. Get them out. Knuckle draggers, bro. Legit knuckle draggers. What about coastal erosion? Yeah. You know what percentage of the American population lives in the coastal region? It's like 58%, 60% of people are going to be fleeing the coast. It might even be more than that. I might be understating that. It's fucking retarded. You want to pretend it's not happening and be a little ostrich and bury your head in the sand, you've got that luxury, because it's probably going to be 50 to 100 years before people really start dying from this shit. And they're just people that they got to believe everything's sunshine and rainbows. And they have that luxury right now because they're 50 years from the collapse. It's coming, though. Their children are going to be real pissed off at their parents' generation that did nothing and laughed at it. You got your head in the sand if you're not seeing the writing on the wall. These giant storms earlier in the fucking season, earlier in hurricane season, every year they're getting worse and bigger. The heat waves, the droughts, the fires. You gonna bury your head in the fucking sand? Bloop. Yeah, links are definitely not allowed, bro. Definitely not allowed. If you got a wrench next to your name, you can post a link. Otherwise, hell to the fuck no. I'm not helping you fish. I'm not helping you otherwise. How's quantum computing going to affect us short term? It's going to immediately change the entire digital landscape. All of our architecture is going to become obsolete overnight, and quantum computers will be used to upgrade it. You will have devices at your use and disposal that blow away this shit. This smartphone shit that we're all fucking around with, this thing. It's done. It's over. I can't tell you what it's going to be because of my human imagination can't conceive of it. The integration of humanity and technology is nigh. It's already happening. Think about that. Make that your fucking politics. Prep for that, you know? Anyway, I've been fucking rambling for like 6 hours. Fuck you. I'm out. See you later. Bye.